Hello, opinionated as always. What's up? Yo. Yes, hello, Dan. Oh, bye, Dan. Nick is late. Boo. I definitely am not late. Wait, can you guys see me on TikTok? Or sorry, YouTube? I know you guys can see me on TikTok. People are saying hi, so I assume you guys can see me. 1 minute late. What are you talking about? I started at 8:30. I started at 8:30. It's now 8:31, but I have been live for 1 minute and 10 seconds. Late as fuck.
Hello, everybody.
We see you,
I'll
Nick.
be
It's
in
just
and
an
out
inside
tonight, but
joke.
hello.
My bad. I'm not good with inside jokes, alright?
Yes, you are. We have some.
Well, yeah, but I'm obviously gonna be a lot closer with you. Maybe just do a live
Hi,
stream
everyone.
about your
Like,
conversation. What conversation?
here.
AP just ended his live stream. Dope. Sean Kelly episode is gonna be like, um, hopefully within a week. That's what I was told. I can't tell you exactly what day though. Why are you stopping uploading your lives? I have definitely not stopped uploading my lives. You have to go into the live section on YouTube to see them, but they're all up there. I did take a break for a few days when I was in Las Vegas. I didn't go live, but is there a coup in Iran? Possible. It was just reported today by CNN. Anyways, Nathan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? So I had a question about, I'm a Orthodox Jew, and I was wondering how you could believe in Noahide without believing in Rabbinic Judaism.
What do you mean?
Isn't it derived from the Talmud, the seven Noahide laws?
I would say they come from the Torah. You can say that it was solidified in the Talmud, but regardless, what does that have to do with the rabbinical laws aren't for me?
I understand that, but the seven Noahide laws are derived from the Talmud. It's not, if you can't read
They
the
derive from the
Torah
Torah,
out.
right? I understand that the
Yes.
Talmud, the rabbis like solidify them into, I guess, for lack of better terms, a list, if you will, but they come from the Torah. They come from God.
Yeah, but I don't know if you could get all of them from the straight text of the Torah itself.
Sure, you can.
Is what I'm saying. And also the word Noahide itself.
Hold on one sec.
Is
Why would you not be able to get them from the Torah? Where did the rabbis get them from?
No, they obviously got it from the oral Torah. That's what I'm saying.
No, they got it from the Torah.
Yes, but the Torah itself doesn't list, hey, here are the seven Noahide laws.
Not in those words, no, but they do. Doesn't say like,
okay, so
step one, step two.
No, I understand that, but I don't think that you read the Torah and like, okay, I found these seven Noahide laws.
No,
and
I understand that there were rabbis that solidified it. I agree with that. Just like the 613 mitzvot. Do you agree those come from the Torah?
Yes.
Okay, but who's the one that solidified them into a list?
Yeah, but I believe in the oral Torah, so...
No, it's not about believing it. I said it's not for me. It's just I haven't studied the Talmud. It's not for me to study. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Talmud specifically says we as Gentiles should only really study them in the pursuit for the Noahide laws.
Of course I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
I guess I would ask, do you believe? So my question would be, do you believe in rabbinic oral law? I guess oral Torah.
I don't know what you mean by believe in it. Like, do I believe it exists and it's for people? Yes.
Well, do you believe that it's true? Is my question.
True from what? I'm not really sure what you're asking me. I'm not even trying to be like pedantic here. I don't know what
No,
you mean. Like,
I
yes, I
understand.
believe
No,
they're true in the sense that they're there.
Do you believe it's from God?
Ah, I see what you're asking. That's a better question. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't want to lie to you and say like it's in my heart. I 100% believe that it's definitely from God. I definitely don't want to say I don't believe that. I haven't seen much contrary information. Not that I've put much studying into the Talmud, to be honest with you, more than just debunking anti-Semitic lies. That's like 99% of the reason I've even
Right.
read what I have. Um, I haven't seen contradictory information to tell me why it isn't from God, because I understand that should be the default position because the oral Torah, the Gemara, the Mishnah that comes from Jews. So naturally, I'm going to take the position of the Jews, just like if the Quran says something, I'm going to listen to maybe an imam about what his belief or her belief. Well, I don't think there are girl imams, but whatever. Anyways,
Right.
what a Muslim woman or man's belief is on the Quran. That's going to be the default position. And then from there, I'll either choose to believe them or I might find something that says, hey, this is contradictory. I have not seen something that's like the Jews say this is from God, and then I look in like let's say the Tanakh or the Torah, and I say, well, but wait a minute, this is contradictory. If I did find that, I'd have no problem calling it out. So I know that's not like in a yes or
Me
no
too.
answer, but I just want to let you know it's just like it's not that I do or don't believe it's from God. I haven't found anything contradictory yet. Again, not that I put much effort to try to find it, but I haven't found anything contradictory to tell me it's not from God.
Yeah, I just noticed that when people bring up things that are brought out in Orthodox Judaism, usually have a lot of respect for it. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, I do have a lot of
where you
respect
get from.
for it. The problem is that a lot of people, mostly Muslims, I have debated Christians about why I don't believe in Christianity, and they're usually able to defend their faith without doing anything else. It's impossible for them to defend their faith unless they try to debunk Christianity or Judaism. For me, they attack Judaism because I'm a Noahide, so I don't think there's much reason to attack Christianity. But if I was a Christian, they would do the same thing and say, well, but what about blah, 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 blah. That's what every single Muslim in the world does. And so for me, another reason I kind of say, like, look, I'm not Jewish. There's no reason to bring it up. It's not me saying I do or don't believe in it. It's me saying I don't care about your position on it because even if you could prove to me that something in Judaism is against, let's say, Western values or ideology, I don't particularly care because it feels like a form of gaslighting for Muslims. And what I mean by that is that even if they could convince me that the words on paper were the same, right, as something that I see in the Quran that I dislike, I don't see Jews coming to America trying to establish that and trying to proselytize it to everyone. So to me, it's just at very best, let's assume their argument's 100% correct, although I'm sure they're probably lying or exaggerating things. To me, it's just like, yeah, on paper, maybe I should be against it. But again, it's the same thing. Like I might disagree with some things that are in the Christian Bible, or maybe I've never studied it, but I'm sure Buddhists and Hindus, I'd probably have problems with some of the other things that they believe if I studied it. But I don't care until they start coming here and they try to proselytize it and spread it across, my country. Then I will be the first one to speak out about it.
Yeah, that's another thing that I see that you do a lot is you'll say that this thing I don't necessarily agree with, and you'll do it with Islam or Judaism too. I know that you say a lot of times about some things in rabbinic Judaism you find off or you don't totally agree with. And I was thinking like it's not necessarily a disproof to the religion itself. It's just something that you don't personally agree with. Because you could say, like, for example, in Islam, I know you bring up the fact that they allow child marriage and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
technically, yes, that's horrible, but it doesn't necessarily disprove the religion itself, obviously.
Right. Now, I can have the debate about disproving the religion. I generally don't have that debate with Muslims, even though they try to force it. A lot of times when Muslim debaters are Dawa bros, and they come up, they try to force you to say like, well, what do you think's wrong with it? What do you think's wrong with it? What do you think's wrong with it? And it's like, look, I'm not in the business of trying to get you. If I can, I'll try to get you to leave Islam because I do find it to be wrong. However, I don't really care if you believe something that I find to be like incorrect, like whether it be scientifically incorrect or like he flew a donkey to the furthest mosque or the further mosque or he split the moon in half, put it back together. Like I don't particularly care. So I don't usually go down that rabbit hole. For me, it's just about the actions of today in
Bring
contemporary
attention
times
to
by
the fact that it's a
Muslims.
dangerous ideology today. Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, we can't actually prove because we can't.
I'm sure if I studied Judaism more, rabbinic Judaism even, I'm sure there will be things that I look at and I'm like, hey, on a personal level, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. So I guess my last thing, that I'll be wondering is what is stopping you from doing that? Or whatever.
Doing what?
Looking more into it in that way.
What, studying the Talmud?
I guess, sure.
Sounds very, 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 very complex. For me to study it to the point that I would feel
how many people actually study it?
For me to study something so complex to the point that I want to start speaking on it in terms of I agree or disagree with it. One, I don't think it's for me. I'm not a Jew. Okay. And if Jews were to be a people that would proselytize, maybe I'd be more interested as a non-Jew to look into it. But Jews are not over here saying like, we need all of you to be Jews. They're saying this is our thing. You don't need to be that.
No,
so why would I take the time? 1 second.
No,
why would I take the 1 second?
I agree with
One
that.
second. Let me just get this last sentence out. Why would I take the decades upon decades it would take? And that's even assuming I put like a large amount of effort into it. Maybe not literally daily, but almost daily level. It would take me decades to even come to a point that I can like really read the whole thing, and not just read to get past it all, but like actually read it to have at least a sliver of understanding of it. It's just I just feel like I could my time would be better spent elsewhere.
You said you read every hadith. Are you suggesting that hadiths are going to take as much time as
Wait, also, when did I ever say I've read every hadith? I've never said that.
You said he read 15,000 or something.
Yeah, I've read, first off, there's like on Sunnah, there's like 9 different books. I read the first 4. So I haven't even read half of them.
Easy to read because they were written by a 9-year-old girl. It's not very
well, also
complex.
They're easy to read because they're 1 to 2 sentences long. Right. Sometimes you might get a paragraph, and a lot of
don't need the other parts of it.
And to be honest, a lot of them are also really boring. There's an entire section, and I'm not even kidding, like pages upon pages of the hadith talking about the Prophet Muhammad doing his business, right? Number 1 or number 2. I'm not even kidding. It just goes on and on for pages. Not gonna lie to you, I didn't put as much effort into read. I read them all, but I'm just, when it's kind of saying the same thing in different words over and over, a lot easier to read. But I've never once doesn't say that much. I've never one second, you guys, 1 second. I've never once ever have said I've read every hadith. First off, if you go with every hadith, even those that you know, what's the word, are the same, right? That are duplicates, if not more. They're like in the hundreds of thousands. Okay, go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the reason why I specifically asked you is because, with all due respect, I'm not, I generally mean it from a good place, is that you're married to a Jew. So that way it would be a little more relevant to you more than anybody.
I already know more than the Talmud than Danielle does. I promise you that.
Well, for her, obviously, or her.
I'm not really sure what you're getting at.
To, follow the laws religiously is what I'm saying.
Shouldn't you be advocating for her to follow the laws religiously?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, then tell her to read it, not me. Why are you asking me to read it?
Fair enough, yeah.
I don't think God's asking me to follow those laws. I think God asks you guys to follow those laws. And if you want to tell her. She probably will say thank you, but no thank you. But you can give it a shot. She's right below you.
That would be great if you could look into it more.
Yeah, babe.
Maybe someday.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mashallah. Rambam, what's up?
Just celebrating the greatest country in the world. Oh, here we go. Hadir and Owen.
Yo, I'm gonna be in and out, so if I don't answer you, right here, just let me know.
Just assume she's studying Talmud.
That's right. I already have it open.
Cars and Dimension, thanks for the super chat. You should read the Kuzari by Yehuda Halevi, Jewish apologetic via Christianity and Islam. Also check out his poem, My Heart is in the East. Okay, Jose, thank you for the super chat. 2 servicemen dead and 1 MIA. RIP. I agree, yes, rest in peace. And last super chat for now, Low-Key says, did you hear that Hassan Piker got Destiny kicked out of a Democratic event he was speaking at today? Funny how suddenly Hassan is pro-borders now. I didn't hear that. It's interesting. Hadir, hi, whatever your name is. Unfortunately, you're not connecting, so maybe try re-requesting. Oh, and what's up?
Hey, last time I was up here, we talked, and you brought up the fact that Israel, before they bomb strikes, will often give out like evacuation warnings.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, that's true.
Which is true. However, the way that they do it is you often through like Twitter. If you go on or X, whatever.
It's not accurate.
It's called.
It's not accurate. They work with the surrounding either NGOs, governments, just depending on the area. I'm sure they also do put in a Twitter notification, but to us. Well, let me ask you, instead of assuming what you're saying, are you implying that's all they do is just Twitter and that's it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna get to the part that you just said, but
okay, go on.
So oftentimes though, with that, it is not easily accessible for the civilians who are in those sites in the red zones to be able to get the information from the people who are receiving the information from the IDF.
In what way and where are you getting your information?
I can give you my source. My source is like
what I'm asking for, of course.
Is it okay if it's like ground, like people on that like are civilians of?
So you're telling me that the people that are being bombed are saying that they're not getting the notifications? Is that your statement?
People who have like survived like near airstrikes and.
Right, they're saying that I didn't get the notification.
Yes, because it's hard. Obviously, you've seen the photos of what the red zones look like. It's not exactly.
Are we talking about Gaza right now? Are we talking about Lebanon?
Gaza.
Okay.
Lebanon also Lebanon. It's a little.
So you're saying 3 years into. So you're saying 3 years almost into the war, they're having a hard time figuring out where the red zones are. I'm gonna call bullshit.
No. They're. The issue is they're having a hard time relaying the information to people who are in specific like areas within the red zone.
What are you basing this off of?
What people in Gaza
you're telling me that the people in Gaza are all connected with each other. There's hundreds of NGOs inside of Gaza. You're telling me that they have not been able to get the notifications out, yet somehow, even though most buildings, at least in the major zones, have been destroyed, if not bombed, damaged, etc., have led to only a death toll of about, even including all terrorist deaths, of about 3+%. And you're telling me that some people are either just getting very, 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 very lucky, or... Oh, and also, not to mention the amount of videos of them filming the exact building right before it gets struck, like they knew where to point the camera. You're telling me I'm supposed to believe when they, who by the way are very, very, very anti-Israel, even those in Gaza that aren't necessarily aligned with the H group, right? Even they probably hate Israel. You're telling me I should believe them, even though there's no evidence whatsoever that suggests that even a little bit, other than anecdotal stories.
Yeah, because the people in the media
gonna choose to not believe that then, unless you have some other form of evidence.
Well, yeah, sure, but the people who are filming often have access to international eSIM cards that have connectivity to the internet and can see.
That's the only thing they do? They just do internet?
Well, yeah, I mean, Israel usually puts it up on like Twitter and a few other places before they do the bombing.
That's it? They go to Twitter and quote unquote a few other places, and then they do the bombing?
Media, you often know how to use the internet. Yeah.
It's not what I'm asking you. You're saying that all Israel does is they go on Twitter, post we're about to bomb this spot, and then you didn't really give a time, but more or less a time.
That's not all they do.
Okay.
That's not all they do.
So then why are you bringing that part up if that's not... Why are you bringing that up then if that's not relevant to the conversation?
Yes, because they don't need somebody to relay the information to them personally. They have access to the internet.
Okay, so did they do anything that requires no internet?
I'm sure some of them have. I won't give an absolute, no.
I'm asking the IDF, Israel, do they do things that gives notifications out via something that spreads that doesn't require the internet?
Personal mouth to mouth.
What else?
I think sometimes there's flyers, but not in all cases.
Okay, so what do those flyers say? Have you looked at them?
To evacuate.
Okay, that's all it says. Flyer comes down, it says evacuate.
Well, it's like I don't know, like something on the lines of you're in like the red zone. You may want to
Okay.
get out.
So you haven't seen any of the flyers then. So what the flyers say, just so everyone knows, is, and it's specifically made for long-term evacuations. Yes, having the internet may give you more up-to-date information, but these flyers actually will have numbered blocks depending on where you are in Gaza. Okay, this is before even the yellow line, and it has the entire Gaza filled. So let's say you look and you're like, I'm in that area. Let's say it's number, I don't know, 83, whatever. And then you go, and then the bottom of the flyer says 83, head through this area at this times to this area. And those areas will always lead to safe zones that are pretty much, for the most part, permanent safe zones, at least indefinitely, right? At least for the foreseeable future, in which case there will be more notifications. That doesn't include NGOs, doesn't include text messages, doesn't include phone calls. Of course, it doesn't include mouth to mouth. It also doesn't include how they go around with loudspeakers and explain all of this, and the massive amount of time if they utilize something that's not a quick notification of waiting between notification to actual bombing or raids or areas of interest. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call stream bullshit on this. Can I say that it's 100% successful? Can I say that there's not one person that maybe this slipped through the cracks with? No, I'm not going to say that. But am I going to say it's significantly efficient enough to where it's not worth having this conversation, especially with no proof, unless you're hiding it from me? So far, you have not delivered anything, even of substantiary evidence. So I'm going to call BS on this.
Sure, that's fine. I guess
if it wasn't BS, we would see significantly more than 3 to 4% of the death.
Yeah, sure. I guess I can talk about your last point if you would like, or you can move on. I'm a pro-Democrat person.
Wow, I'm so shocked.
Republicans have also been pretty in support of Palestine in more recent times.
So the most recent Gallup poll showed the Republican support of Israel. Do you think it was more, less, or the same since 2014 poll?
There's definitely more Republicans, so I'd say it's more.
No. Percentage. So it doesn't matter if there's more. I don't know of any poll in the history that's just going to go raw numbers only.
Sure, I would say it's higher.
Wait a minute.
Off the way you're asking the question, it's definitely higher.
It's exactly the same. It's not higher. But I find it interesting that you said it's higher. You kind of just gave up on your whole entire position within about 5 seconds.
Ask the question if it was lower.
Okay, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Now there is a bit of a shift in the Gen Z Republicans. It's gone down, not a lot, honestly. Most of the Gen Z anti-Israel sentiments in the Democrat Party, and slightly also in the I guess center. I wouldn't say party, but neither Democrat nor Republican. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as for the total percentage across the board for Republicans, it's exactly the same percentage. That being said, yeah, I'm not here to try to pretend that there's not a shift in perception of Israel across all Americans, whether it's Republican, Democrat, center, etc. I'm not here to do that, and I think it's dangerous for pro-Israelis to automatically assume that. It's good for us to acknowledge when there's an issue.
Yeah, sure. So what's your issue with Democrats specifically?
You guys keep aligning yourselves with all of the worst actors. I had no issue with the Democrats back in the 90s, maybe even early 2000s. But there's been a huge shift in the Democrat Party in at least the past 10 years, if not more.
Can you give me, so when you say aligning with the worst actors, can you just give me like an example so we can
socialist, communist, Marxist, the Red-Green Alliance especially? That one is probably my biggest issue, the Red-Green Alliance.
Yeah, sure. So I guess China is like the best example of communism in modern society. So can we agree that communism is the abolishment of private ownership of land?
Yeah, I think it's a little more direct than that, but already, if that's what we want to, focus on, that specific aspect of communism, I am already against it. Yeah, I am for private ownership.
Yeah, can you tell me what the issue about it in China is specifically?
I don't really care. I'm not Chinese. Also, China is not even a communist anymore. In fact, you should actually read this book. It's very, very good. It's talking about I think it's called How China Became a Capitalist Society, or hold on, let me pick it up.
But nobody owns a piece of land in China. You're good. Take your time.
Just want to get the book. I know it's called something. China became... Yeah, it is. It's called How China Became Capitalist by R. Wing
Wait, can you
co-essay.
slow down when you say that so I can type it?
Yeah, How China Became Capitalist.
Oh, that's all it was.
Yeah, it's very easy. By Ronald Coase, and Nobel laureate in economics Ning Wang.
Sorry, I got it.
Anyways, what did you say? I'm sorry, I was looking that up. What did you say?
No, you're good. So, like, what's your issue with the government owning the land and renting it to like long term? It's not like,
well, first off, you have to tell me why that would be better, or why what we have now is worse, because right now the status quo is this. So for you to convince me of changing something, it's on you to tell me why it's better, or this is so awful or evil or bad or immoral, right? I could go into what I have problems with, but overall, why don't we just skip the middleman and get straight to, because it's always going to lead back to what we have now. So why don't you just tell me why that's better?
Yeah, because you have massive corporations. BlackRock is the perfect example. People like them have own, I think, like, I won't give you a lot. Let's just a lot, like hundreds of billions of dollars worth of land and property within this country.
Do you agree that a problem within a system doesn't mean another system is better? Even if I were to concede what you just said, let's just hypothetically, let's give you your best case scenario.
Sure.
What does that have to do with? You didn't tell me why communism would be better. You just told me a problem that you have in the United States of America today.
Yeah, well, I was giving you a problem that's in our society, and I was going to give you a resolution within my.
Communism isn't a resolution to that. You can resolve that without switching to communism. I agree. Communism would be one solution to that, while ignoring everything else that comes with communism. Sure, but do you agree you can solve that without shifting to communism?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll ask the question again. Why is communism better? Not give me problems that you have in today's system.
Yeah, but now we're going to run into an issue where we're going to come up with something that's wrong.
How about I ask you a question on how it will work? If you convince me, I'll become a communist today. So, what happens to all the private? Let's start low. Let's start with just housing, right? I own a house. Okay, well, what happens to me? You become the dictator of America. Let's just say dictator, so we don't go through all the little loopholes and everything. Like, you get to say what you want. How are you going to implement? Like, I have a private house. What happens to me under your regime?
Yeah, sure. There would have to be some sort of. I mean, you're not going to like this, but some sort of.
Yeah, be honest.
Yeah, sure. I'll be blunt. It won't be pretty, but I would say there would have to be some sort of like authoritarian ownership of the land. Like, we'd have to come in somehow, like, buy the land. Like,
no, I don't want some. First off, I find it interesting that already at the very, very, very start of you trying to convince me, you already go, it's going to be very ugly. Like, but I hear you.
Every system has an ugly start.
No, I wouldn't say that. Not in the terms of evil, but also let's get back to what you were saying. You said somehow. I don't want somehow. I want you to tell me how. Right? Because remember, you're convincing me. Seriously, Owen, I'm a very open person, right? I have no problem saying I'm for something that's unpopular. In fact, I'm very, very pro-Israel, even though it's getting back to normal again. I was very, very pro-Israel in that 2023 to 2024 phrase where it was very unpopular. I have no problem, but you have to convince me. And so far, you started off by saying, yeah, somehow we'll have to just kind of do that. I don't want somehow. You tell me exactly what's going to happen. So you said very authoritarian. So I'm thinking like Nazis, Imperial Japan, something. People are coming in with coats and guns.
Anti-Jew.
Oh, I said Imperial Japan too. I don't know what that has to do with anti-Jew.
But you went to Nazis first.
Yes. Do you agree they were authoritarian? Yes.
Yep.
I don't understand. Did I bring up anything about Jews?
No, we can keep.
I don't even know why you cut me. Yes, I agree. They were anti-Jewish. Obviously, I wasn't talking about that part. I was talking about the Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna pretend you didn't say that dumb shit. Anyway, so I think Nazis, Imperial Japan, like Stalin level type stuff. And so I'm thinking people like, I don't know, in uniforms, very authoritarian, they're coming in with guns. If you're saying that's not it, you need to convince me more than just somehow I'm gonna take your property from you. So let's try again. Tell me
Yeah,
how, what
sure.
happens to my property, what happens to me, and how are you gonna implement this?
Yeah, sure. There would have to be like a mandatory buyback. When I say authoritarianism, like it wouldn't be like a Nazi Germany, like where we go in and just
Really?
mass unalive people.
Okay, so you come to me and you say, Nick, we're gonna give you this money and we're gonna take your property from you, right? Again, we haven't even gotten into like businesses or just a guy, the average American, middle class, if you will, and I bought a house, right? I own it, and now you come in and you say, I'm gonna give you, I don't know, let's say $1 million, I don't know, whatever, and we're gonna take your property from you. What happens if I say no? I don't want $1 million.
It would work the same way that it already works in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when they built the railroads, right, or more modern railroads, there's a law, and I don't remember what the specific.
Think of an eminent domain.
Yeah, eminent domain, right? The government, you basically are forced to sell that land. You'd be forced to sell it the same way to the government.
Okay.
Now, if obviously in cases where people use force to go against eminent domain, right, they will be met with force. That's just
right. So just so you know, eminent domain follows the Fifth Amendment. So you're saying we're not really going to be necessarily following the Fifth Amendment. We're just going to be going with universal eminent domain. Okay, I'll accept that answer. So you come in. How do you come in if I say no? Like, I'm against this new system. You're not just doing the Fifth Amendment with eminent domain and public use like railroads. You're trying to take everyone's property. What happens if I say no? What do? You throw me in jail? You kill me? Something in between?
Yeah, there would have to be some sort of penalty.
Okay. Okay. So now everyone who, by the way, do you agree most Americans would probably stand against this, right? Because most Americans are not for, even Democrats are not for communism.
Sure.
Okay.
I agree. It's not a popular opinion.
Okay. So let's say I'm going to be nice and say like 70%. I think it would be like 95%, but let's say 70% resist it.
It would probably be like upwards of 99.
Yeah, let's be really nice. Let's say only 70% resist it. Let's say 30% just give up. They're like, Owen is just very convincing. I think this might work. I'll give him my land. Let's say only 70% resist. So you're going to throw all of them in jail. And then if they resist from there, you're going to kill them.
Well, I think there can be other punishments other than jail.
Okay, like what?
Unalive, and obviously, if they
like
meet me with,
they're resisting. They're not leaving their property. They're not accepting your money that you're trying to give them for their property. Which I'm going to get into that in a second. But let's put a pin in it. Right? They're not accepting it. What do you do?
Yeah, one, we're not trying to kick them out of the land. We just want the land that but their house can their buildings can stay on the land. It's just the land specifically that we want, not the house.
Okay, so you're just giving people money, but they get to keep the house.
Yes.
Okay, and no more property taxes, no more any of that?
No more property taxes.
And you're taking their entire mortgage, right?
It'd be there would probably be like a percentage taken off based off the land. They would obviously owe money to like the bank for like building.
You mean the government?
Well, the government, yeah.
Okay, got it. So you're just gonna leave this on their doorstep. Like, we're giving you the money. You want to take it or not? It's up to you. You can stay in the house. We're just gonna give it to you. Let's just for the sake of moving forward the conversation, let's just say that happens. Okay. And so my next question is, who is paying? Because that is tens of trillions, if not hundreds of trillions. Like, I haven't even gotten into like, I just gotten into like just houses, like single family homes. But if you add in everything, this is like tens of trillions to hundreds of trillions of dollars. Who's paying for that?
Yeah, I think it would have to come from our gold reserves. Because I don't think they're in in a communist society, there wouldn't be an importance of a gold reserve.
Let's look up how much they have in gold reserves. All right.
And other precious metals, I guess.
Sure.
Would be based off of that.
Okay. So there's a significant surge. Gold price, the gold stash sits at over 1 trillion. Okay, so that's that's not going to cover even I mean, that's going to cover a small fraction of everything. So you empty out the reserves. Who's paying for the rest?
Which I know sounds crazy, but there would be no point in having the reserve in a
Okay, fine.
communist society.
Sure. Well, I'm not arguing against it. You empty the reserves out. You're saying it's not important to empty it out, but fine. You empty it out. You're still like very, 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 very short on money. Who's paying for the rest?
Yeah, I think at a point you would have to start forgiving loans.
Okay, and you understand what happens to an economy when you just forgive all of that, right?
Yeah, in the capitalist society, yes, sure. The economy collapses. I agree.
What do you mean? Is the rest of the world going to be following suit? Because the world's economy isn't going to give a shit what system you apply to. So no, it's not just in a capital system. Our world economics, our macroeconomics would crash under this. But fine,
Yes,
let's
I
say
agree.
you don't care though. It's going to crash, but it's for the betterment of society. So we now have lost all soft power, really, and probably hard power, I assume. We'll get into that in a second, but let's put a pin in hard power. We've lost that on a global stage in the snap of a finger because you're now the new dictator, okay? So we lose all of that, okay? Next question, right? What happens to, let's say, let's just go with Elon Musk because he's the biggest one. So he owns, let's just do with SpaceX. We don't even get into Tesla or anything. So what happens to his company?
Yeah, it'd be like a public company.
Well, it's already
well,
public, but
like a socialist-esque type company. Where
what does
the
that mean?
The workers would basically, everybody would kind of act as like what's like a step under the CEO.
So
like
over 1,000 of
a-
his workers became millionaires overnight after the IPO deal. What happens to those workers? Not even the CEO, just those normal workers who just made a lot of money due to capitalism and private ownership. What happens to them?
What do you mean? What happens to them?
Those are just normal employees. So I don't know if you understand, but SpaceX, right? A lot of their employees, they had stocks given to them by the company for working there. Okay.
Yep.
And because of the IPO, I think it was over 1,000 of them became millionaires overnight. Now, some of them, because it's, shifted down, maybe they lost that millionaire status and it's hundreds of thousands, but a lot of money. Okay. What happens to those people? These aren't CEOs. These are just normal working Americans who work a normal job at SpaceX. Well, maybe it's a little higher than just like the entry level, but you know what I mean? It's a normal job. What happens to them?
Yeah, I think the company would be split into equal parts, and obviously, within that, you would want the people who all have equal parts in the company would want the company to do as best as possible for them to still make as much money. There would be
that's not an answer. You're being extremely vague. What happens? Do you take everyone's ownership, including Elon Musk, and then you split it? I don't know how many employees SpaceX has. Let's just look. How many employees does SpaceX have? 22,000. Okay, so you take it, you divide 100% by 22,000, and then you give everyone equally that amount.
It's not he doesn't own 100%, but
or does it just the government just hold it and they don't get any amount? How does it work? I'm asking you.
Yeah, it would just be equally divided. Yeah, that's how it would work.
Okay, so the government doesn't own this. This is going back to the people, and they're all going to own 0.0001% of SpaceX now.
Sure.
And then what happens then when the company collapses? Because it sounds like you're still trying to hold to the stock market because you're talking about share percentage, but the shares would dive bomb because now the CEO just lost everything. So naturally, if the company doesn't go under, the prices are just going to completely crash. So everyone's 0.0001% is going to be worth now pennies. So what now?
Well, when I say shares, it wouldn't be like stock market. It would just be everybody in the company would be like have an equal role and importance to the company.
Okay. So everyone has an equal say in the company and the direction it goes into.
Yeah, it'd be like a board.
Okay, so I'm part of that company, and I say, hey, I think we need to do blank. And some people disagree. You said there's a board. Who's on this board?
There would be like a voting system.
Okay, but they have to be employees or the government oversees it? How's that work?
Employees.
Okay, so let's say how many people are on this board of 22,000 employees? How many people are on the board?
No, it would be everybody.
Everybody's on the board?
Vote on a decision.
No, who's on the board? How many? Like, is there 10 people on the board that covers 22,000 employees?
No.
Is there 100 people on the board? How many?
Do you know how me and you have an equal say on who's the president?
I got all that, but I'm asking how many
Yes.
people are on the board? A board has multiple people in it. Is it a board of 10? Is it a board of 50? Is it a board of 100?
They are all a part of a vote. That's what I'm saying.
22,000, Nick. He wants 22,000
got
people
it.
on the
So the
board.
board isn't really
You
a
have to get a
board.
much bigger
It's
meeting
just
room.
yeah. So the board
A
isn't
voting
really
system.
a board. The board is by board you didn't mean it because board is short for like generally board of executives. Just FYI. So you didn't actually mean
Board
a
of
board
directors.
or board of directors. Yep. So you just meant. Not a board. I don't know what the word would be. You just want everyone to have a voting system. Everyone has an equal vote, whether you're Elon Musk or you're Nick Mattel working at SpaceX. Got it. Okay. So who do I go to? Right? I'm one of the 22,000 employees. I say, hey, you know what? I really think we should have Gatorade instead of Powerade in the vending machines in the break rooms. Who do I go to say I want to initiate a vote of 22,000 people to replace Powerade with Gatorade? Who do I go to?
I think when you would have votes like that, I think there would be sort of a vote within people who that break room involves.
Okay, fine. Let's just say blank. I was being a little facetious with the Gatorade and
You want to do a
Powerade.
stock? You want to do a stock buyback? Do that. That applies
Sure.
to everyone.
Let's just say blank so he doesn't get caught up in the. You want to do something that affects all 22,000 people. How does Nick Mattel? Who do I go to initiate this vote?
I don't see an issue why you couldn't just initiate the vote yourself.
So what do I do? A mass email of 22,000 people? Send. It's 22,000 people, Owen. Come on, dude.
Yes.
How do I initiate a vote? This isn't. I'm not asking this
Yeah.
like super. Dude, I haven't even gotten to the difficult questions that's going to debunk communism. I'm at the bare like easy level questions, and you're struggling right now. Who do I go to initiate this vote?
You would just mass send an email.
Okay,
That'd be
got it.
mandatory to.
Okay, who's enforcing that mandatory rule? Who's
To
enforcing
assume
it?
everybody's reading their emails too.
No. Don't even get into that. Who's enforcing? Because you just said mandatory, so now I heard rules. Great. Who's enforcing this rule? Because you said everyone's equal. Who's enforcing it? What happens if I decide fuck emails and I don't answer it? Who's punishing me? Who's writing me up? How's this work?
I think there would have to be some sort of set rules within everybody.
Who's enforcing it?
Yeah, they would have voted on these rules.
Yeah, who?
To start? Everybody.
Yeah, who's enforcing it?
What?
The majority of people.
Yeah, but
Like,
what does that mean? Who's enforcing it? Who gets to tell me who has equal percentage as me? Who gets to tell me, hey Nick, you didn't answer that email. I don't even know how he would know, but whatever. You didn't answer that email, right? Obviously, again, I'm being a little facetious about emails. I'm just talking about generally the rules. Who's enforcing it? Who gets to fire me? Let's say I'm just not doing my job. Who gets to fire me?
Yeah, there would have to be some set of let's say like 51% of people say that if you don't respond to important like voting emails, you are automatically withdrawn from the company.
Okay, and that has to be
That's not how that works. First of all, that's not how that works with a board of directors, anyways.
Right. So I just want to wait just real quick. So it'd only be the vote for that one because you said 51% have to say we want to fire Nick Mattel. That would only be the
50.1.
ones. Well, yeah, 50.1. Right. That has to be only the vote of the people that affected me. The other employees that don't even know me, they wouldn't get to vote on that, obviously, because you said that earlier. So what happens if they just find out? Let's say there's a bunch of pro pallies that work there, and they see my high necklace, and they're like, "Huh, this guy might be a Jew or a Zionist." What if could they put in a vote, and if more than 51% want to get rid of me, can they? Or vice versa. Let's say it's a bunch of pro-Israelis. They find out there's a pro pally that works there. Can we all vote to get that person out? How does that work?
I guess hypothetically, yeah, sure, they could.
That sounds like a
There's a
great
better-
system.
There's a better way to handle this, dude. Let me ask you a question. So this applies to all the workers, executive and labor equally?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what if I invested $5 million in the company when it started? Why should my vote be equal to a guy that was hired last week?
Yeah, because during this transit, because obviously
I invested $5 million. I took the risk. I put up my
Yep.
capital. I assumed the risk. I didn't get paid for a while because the company was starting out. I deferred salary and compensation for a year. while the company got up and running, and then you want my vote to be equal to a vote of a guy that was hired last week who's making $16 an hour.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, you're not dumb. You would know during this transition, right, from capitalist to socialist or communist. I prefer socialism, but we're just talking about communism. The U.S. dollar would be pretty irrelevant after
This
the
has nothing to do with the
transition.
dollar. This has to do with my investment. I assumed a risk through a capital expenditure. Okay.
Yeah.
I assumed a risk. If the company had gone bankrupt, I would have lost $5 million. Okay. I assumed that risk. I wrote it out. I deferred salary and compensation for a year, like a lot of people do. And you want my vote to be equal to a guy who was hired last week making $16 an hour who's scrubbing the toilets. How is that fair? And do you know what the result would be if we transition to your plan? Do you know what I would do as the guy who invested $5 million?
Yeah, sure. I understand.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Yeah, you'd be pretty pissed.
No. What would I? Yeah, that's how I would feel.
Well, I
What
don't
would
know.
I do?
War. I don't know. Like there'd be a civil war probably.
No,
If-
I'm selling out of this fucking company.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Bye.
I was also
See you
gonna
later.
ask-
I don't want anything to do with this company where my vote is diluted, and then the company crashes because everyone like me is going to sell to get out.
I was also going to ask you, and I didn't ask this yet, if I owned, let's say, 1% of all of SpaceX's shares, right, and then you take over and implement the system, do I get my fair market value because you're taking my shares from me and, you know, splintering it out to everyone else? Do I get paid for that? Like you pay
Yeah, I
for
think
my
what they-
property?
Well, no, are we conflating shareholders and board of directors? It's two different things.
I am talking about shares right now. I'm not talking about board of
Okay.
directors. I'm asking him, do I get paid? I own 1% of SpaceX stocks. I don't know how many stocks are in circulation right now, or shares, excuse me.
That's irrelevant.
Right? Yeah, but that's irrelevant. Do I get paid for that? Like how you paid property owners for their single family home, do I also get paid for owning that portion of shares?
Yeah, sure. There could be.
Okay, so who's going to pay Elon Musk $1 trillion?
Yeah, I think it would have to do with whatever the value. I think there would have to be some sort of like barter system, right? They would like.
Okay, he barters and he'll say, "I'll
Barter.
take half."
He's gonna trade his shares for
Yeah,
what?
let's just
For
let's
what?
just say
Chickens?
it does. Yeah, let's
You
just
can
say
trade
it
it for
does.
chickens?
He says, "You know what? I really love your plan, Owen. I was against communism. I'm Elon freaking Musk, but you really convinced me. You did a good job. I'm into it. I'll sell it for half." So who's gonna pay him $500 billion? And that's me being very nice to your argument, by the way, because no way in hell he would do that. But let's just say hypothetically, where does he get the 500 billion, and then where does Mark Zuckerberg get his money, and Jeff Bezos, and all the way down the whole entire chain? But let's start with Elon Musk. Who's paying him $500 billion? Where's that come from? Can't say tax the rich because wait, where'd you go? Why'd you run away? Wait, where'd you go? I didn't even get to the hard questions yet. Yeah, anyways, just so everyone knows, that's why I'm against capitalism. Not because I'm closed-minded, but because communism. Every time I ask a communist, can you convince me? Somehow they just never seem to be able to know their own arguments. And again, I have yet to get to the hard questions. I actually have some questions up here that none of you have heard yet, me ask a communist, because I haven't been able to get past that part right there.
Wait, he wanted to buy everyone's single family homes?
Yeah. I asked him, like, if I owned just one single family home, how does it work? And he essentially said, it's like eminent domain, except instead of
He lives
following
in
the Fifth Amendment, it's just going to be like a universal blanket eminent domain. And so I just said, okay, fine, whatever. And I said, what if I didn't want to accept the money? We agreed that the government's just going to drop it in your mailbox and be like, you take it or don't, but we own your property now. Here's the money, right? So yeah,
Well, did you? I don't know. I wasn't here for it.
yeah.
Did you mention that inflation would be at Zimbabwe levels
Yes,
because of all the
I
money
did.
we'd have to print? Okay.
I did. I told him that because I said, what happens? I said, who's paying for this? You know what he says? He says, we'll empty out the gold reserves, which I told him the amounts that we have in gold reserves. So it would only be a fraction of everything. And then I said, from there, what do you do? And he said, we'll just forgive all loans. And I'm like, do you understand what would happen to inflation? And he said, it doesn't really matter in a communist society.
Well, and all the banks would crash.
I actually didn't even say that. I just said inflation levels, and he said it wouldn't matter.
Okay, well, fine, I guess. I don't even know the answer to this, but the total value of all single family residential real estate in this country has to be in the trillions.
I said to be
Trillions of
safe. Let's
dollars.
just say tens of trillions. That's what I said to be safe, and that
It's
didn't
gotta
even
be in
get
the
it.
trillions.
Didn't even get into just beyond single family homes, right? All property, like it's
Yeah.
It's.
I can't even fathom how much it is.
What's up?
Listen, here's the idiocy of this, Hammer and Nick, is that if I invest $2 million in my company, I don't give a flying fuck what the janitor who I hire thinks about my bottom line or anything. And you were very
Facts.
kind, Hammer.
What
That's
would he
the bottom
have
line.
to contribute? Like, just
Because if he doesn't agree
you're
with me,
there for
I'll
something.
fire him, and I'll hire 9 other ones that at the same rate.
By the end of the day.
It's so fucking idiotic.
Like, I hired you to clean, bro. Like,
I got that. By the way, that dinner, I still smell like garlic. Thank you both very much. I really appreciate it.
I heard about the garlic.
The thing is, the reason communism fails, beyond the economic models, supply and demand, frozen rent, wage caps, all that nonsense. The reason it fails ultimately is because we are all different. And some people are motivated by success, and some people are motivated by
different
security.
That's
right?
so
Some
true.
people are very happy with a $75,000 a year job where the company pays their health insurance, they put a little away in their pension,
Right.
they're going to have social security and a pension when they retire. They're going to be fine. They live modestly. That's fine. That's awesome. Those are great people. And then there are other people like me who want to live a good life, who want to travel, who want to buy nice things, who want to
Sit in your jacuzzi
have
at 9:20
experiences.
at night
I don't
with
want
a
to
thing.
settle for mediocrity. I don't want to settle for
Let me,
average healthcare.
All right.
I don't want to settle for average vacations. I want to do what's amazing, and that should be my choice.
And you go for shitty food that smells like garlic for the next week and a half. Okay, thank you guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
Lila ciao.
Lila. Real quick, let me catch up with these super chats. I already read that one. Sav says AP did a live stream tonight reaction to your debate. Oh, awesome. Hit OT, thank you for the membership. You should watch the video of Destiny being denied entry into the college Dems event. It's a fine example of the dirty break that socialists want. Thanks for Yehuda for second membership. Giannis says, if it wasn't for Deng Xiaoping opening China to the west by administrative zones, it would have been a poor country to this day, rivaling Africa. Moish says, your high necklace is not in the right direction. It 1000% is in the right direction. It's just my camera is inverted. As you can tell, Saudi Arabia over here is also not in the right direction, or the American flag. You're supposed to have it on the top left, the Union Jack, and it is, but because the camera is inverted,
Yeah,
you will
it is
see.
funny though when I walk into the room and it's literally on the other side that I see it.
Yeah, just like how Israel also might look backwards on my necklace, but it's not really. But I get it. I get that a lot. A lot of people think that things are shifted. The Real South says, does this guy hold a job or ever worked? I feel like all communists live with their parents and never worked or ever held a job. A lot of them have not held an actual job. That's true. The Real South also says, most people are low IQ and society would crumble if we all had equal say in everything. Nothing would work if everyone had a say in it. GG Writer says, leftists to Real South. Leftists think stupid, lazy people should have as much say and control and wealth as smart, talented people who work hard. Excuse me. Let's see. Carr says, how does innovation occur in social essentially planned societies? Equipment and material needed has already been allocated.
Lauren said maybe Nick
Dividing-
is just inverted.
Lauren has the weirdest jokes.
Lolo.
Carr is dividing up Tesla's equity is one thing, but how does a Tesla get started in his proposed communist system? It's a fair point, actually. Didn't even get into that yet. Legima says 20,000 people, 98% of whom can't drive, half of whom are drunk and don't care, all reaching for the same steering wheel. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be 98%, but I get you. That's not good automotive engineering. Gigi says, Lysenko? Who's that? Kissed Stalin's ass. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about someone on the panel. Kissed Stalin's ass and bumped communism theory, so he got agriculture rules on tight planting, caused crop failure and starvation. Okay. Almost there. Legima, thanks for the bigger super chat. Using barter system to buy back Elon's fortune for the unicorn utopia people's government is hilarious. Elon, will you take this many million bushels of wheat berries, navy beans, and sheep's wool. Durr.
That's funny.
The real South says capitalism works because it's based on human instincts. It comes natural for humans. Thanks for the membership for 4 months. Global, I appreciate that. Please troll some Muslims. We need the laughs. Got you. GG says for communist faith to lead to utopia, everyone must be on board with forced altruism, no individuality, or else unalived. Look up, love it, Fort Whiteman. Radical, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming.
So
You, Aaron.
why I came in is as I was scrolling, y'all were talking about what seemed like you were taking a position against communism, and
I was
what
taking a position, just to be fair, I was taking a position of a guy saying he can convince me, and I said I'm very open-minded. If you can convince me based off of the questions that I ask on how blank, blank, or blank would work, then I would have no problem becoming not just a communist, anything, if you can convince me.
Gotcha. Well, it seemed like you were highlighting issues with economic policy, which I would describe as socialism within it.
No, I think
and
the
you-
economic policies he was amplifying was definitely communists. I wouldn't say they were particularly just socialists, but I was just simply doing just the Socratic method of I was just asking questions.
It was collectivism.
It was.
Well, so how do you differentiate then between, like, quote unquote communist economic policy versus socialist?
Yeah, so what he said was a complete 100% eradication of any private ownership, from a normal, just middle-class American owning maybe a single-family home, all the way up to Elon Musk level corporations, major, really, I guess, international corporations, even though it's headquartered in Hawthorne, California, I believe is where SpaceX is. So he was saying that I would call that more communism, although I am against socialist stuff as well. I'm just saying, to be fair to his argument, I think he was arguing more communist.
Gotcha. Well, so what I was going to contend with, and maybe there is no argument to be had, but do you so are you against like a mixed economy, like an economy that includes both socialism?
Lauren, don't
and
start with those
capitalism?
gifts, please.
Is that Lauren? Lauren, I will block you. Stop. Do not send those gifts. I don't even know why TikTok added that feature. It's so dumb. Sorry, Radical, can you say that again?
Yeah. I was essentially going to ask, well, what I was asking is if you're against like a mixed economy, so an economy that, incorporates both socialism and capitalism, just like industry specific, or...
Yeah, you'd have to tell me exactly what. I don't like giving blanket statements, but generally speaking, very, very generally speaking, yes, I believe in merit-based pretty much across the board. But if you can convince me of maybe some nuance that I'm not thinking of, that I'd be like, okay, fair enough, I can understand that. But you have to get more specific than just like a blanket statement.
Yeah, I just, where I usually come in, what usually happens is like a sort of a different understanding of what socialism and capitalism are. Do you, would you agree socialism is centralization / regulation, or centralized regulation of equity, versus capitalism being decentralized
And the
regulation of
centralized
equity?
control of the means of production.
Yeah, I think I like Hammer's better.
Like nationalizing the oil industry is socialism.
Well, the problem is like it becomes, when you just say like centralized control of the means of production,
Yes.
well, it's like our government already legislates how obviously equity
That's
is.
right. They legislate, they don't own it.
Right.
They don't own Exxon. They don't own Shell. They don't own LNG. They don't own
So your
nuclear
view,
power plants. They regulate. That's what happens in a representative republic, where we elect people to determine laws that are for the common good, or what we believe to be for the common good. Socialism is they take it over. Like, for example, in Venezuela, when Chavez came in and he nationalized, meaning he took over, and the oil companies no longer became privately owned, they became state owned.
Yeah, the problem is like it becomes non-functional the way you're defining it, because governments obviously have a dividend that they give themselves, right? Tax revenue. So if like they're able to control how equity is
They're
driven,
not giving it to themselves. They're using it for the day-to-day function of the government. Dude, you're a
Correct.
hyper capitalist. You're in the financial services industry. We know who the fuck you are. Like, what are you talking about over here?
I don't
Trying
know
to
who
make
he
a
is.
defense for it's Scotto. You're
No,
sitting here
I don't
trying to
know who
make the
that
I
is.
defense
don't
for so.
understand.
Yeah, you
I
do. You
don't
used to
think you
come up all
understand
the
what I'm.
time about Israel. He's a goofball.
Okay.
You're trying to make the case for socialism when you're in the financial services industry. Stop it. Like, you're being ridiculous. And you're
Okay.
trying to
I
do this
don't.
is what you did
Okay,
before.
it's
You're
fine.
trying to
It's
show
it's
you're trying to show how smart you are by using words you really don't know the meaning to. What I described was perfect socialism, and you're trying to say, "Well, that's not really." No, that's what it is.
okay.
Period.
I don't remember you personally, but nonetheless, just tell me what it is instead of asking me. Just tell me what it is you're advocating for. Be very at least relatively specific, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, I think a mixed economy is necessary. I think that the government does need
So yeah,
to.
so I'm going to ask one more time.
just
When I said relatively specific, I meant definitely more specific than that.
in regard to what?
Give an example
Okay.
of what that means.
I'm going to move on.
Well,
if you're not able to
just-
understand what I mean
yeah,
by that
I'll
question, that's a
re-clarify.
very, very, very basic question. If you're not capable of understanding, I'm just going to assume you're not smart enough, so I'm going to move on. My question is not difficult.
Well, here's the problem: we couldn't get past.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. Just tell me what you're advocating for, and if I'm going to say very specific.
A mixed economy.
That's not specific.
Give an example of what that means.
Why
That's
is that not specific?
It's not.
What does
Okay,
it
I'll
mean?
tell you why it's not specific. Because mixed economy can mean more or less in this direction or that direction. I have no idea what that means. If I said mixed economy, what do I mean? Hold on, Hammer, just 1 second.
Right.
Radical, if I said to you, I want a mixed economy, and I told you repeat back exactly what I want, what would you say?
Nick, I think you're
I'm
forgetting.
going to try one more time. If I said
it
I
means that
want a
you-
mixed economy, and without repeating back just the same words I use, tell me very specifically what I mean by that.
It means that you believe that the system.
Not what
of
I believe, what I
socialism-
want.
It means you want a system of socialism and capitalism to plurally work for.
Okay,
your
70%
society.
capitalist, 30% socialist. Is it more socialist than it is capitalist? What does it mean? Tell me what I mean when I say I want a mixed economy.
Well, so you said.
Okay,
that
let's
you
try
were
one more
against
time. Tell me what I mean if I said to you I want a mixed economy.
What I just said, it doesn't get more granular than that.
Great. So tell me, what do I mean? You just said capitalist and socialist. Okay, 30%,
Correct.
50%, 50-50. What does it mean?
It doesn't necessitate a certain percentage.
Okay, so you agree it's not specific then.
Yeah, it doesn't go more granular.
Perfect. So
You
I'm
could
going to
get more
ask you
granular
again.
using
Perfect.
other
So I'm
words.
asking you to get specific. What does that mean? And then once you get specific with that, we will go into examples.
How is this going over your head? It just means that an economy that operates with both.
I understand. Is it 50-50?
It doesn't have to be, no.
I'm asking you what you... Dude, what is so confusing? You. I know it doesn't have to be for anyone saying it. I'm asking you specifically, how would you find it to be at
are you
its
forgetting-
premier example?
Nick, you said for the most part.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. I don't know if you're not gonna answer answer my question. There's no reason to go on. I agree with you.
You're obfuscating though.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. Thank you. You weren't
That-
capable. It's okay. Just listen. I'm just gonna move on. I don't have time to play the pedantic games. Okay, it's very
In the
simple.
future- oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
In the future, for people who come up, don't be like that guy. Here's what you do. Okay, very simple. 2 sentences. If you are making the case for something, you say, I believe that we need to have a mixed economy between socialism and capitalism. And by that, I mean X, Y, and
Yes,
Z.
exactly.
You then follow
Right.
up the thesis statement with specifics like as it relates to the oil industry, as it relates to banking, as it relates to real estate.
Yep.
Give us an example of what a
Can't have
mixed
the debate with someone who doesn't know how to have the debate or the discussion.
well, that too, yeah. But give us an example of what a socialist, capitalist, mixed hybrid economy means as it relates to specific sectors of the economy.
Yeah.
So people can visualize it
Yeah, it's
or
actually-
try to understand it.
It's actually very, very, very simple, literally. And I'm not even going to harp on it because I think 99% of people at least get that concept. I think the reason he was afraid to answer is because he knew that if he did, then that's when you start to lose the argument. Yeah, it's very simple. I believe this, and by this, I mean this. Simple. Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Gentlemen, hello. Very important and close to heart subject. I was born and raised in the Soviet Union. And let me tell everyone out there, except for a couple of things
I'm listening.
that
Keep
were
going.
good, that were good in a communist system, everything else not just didn't make any sense, it crumbled at the end, as a result of which I and millions of my compatriots ended up being all around the world and not in the former Soviet Union anymore. You mentioned the possibility of someone like Elon Musk being reimbursed for his, losses in the ownership of the company. In the Soviet Union, all businesses were nationalized,
Yeah.
and if you were opposed to it, you would be just blank shot in the head. But not only that, if, for example, you, Nick, had a large apartment or a house, the communists would tell you, you know what, it's too big for you. We have families here who are in need. And what we're going to do, if you have, let's say, 5 bedrooms, you and your wife would take 1 bedroom and the rest you would share with other families.
Oh, that's
That was
perfect.
that was called communal apartments.
Yeah,
And
if you
many,
want to know about communism, you can just go back and watch Ronald Reagan's old speeches and the jokes he used to tell, because they were all true, right? All the
absolutely,
jokes he used to tell, like it came time for a family to order their car from the Soviet Union, so they went down
yeah,
to the central office to order their car, and the guy gets to the front of the line and says, "I'm here to order my car." And the
right,
guy behind the counter says, "Okay, it'll be ready for you in 10 years."
yeah,
And the guy said, "Yeah, 10 years." He goes, "Yeah. And by the way, do you want your appointment?" So the guy buying the car goes, "Okay, is morning or afternoon?" And the guy behind the counter goes, "Why does that matter?" And he goes, "Because I got the plumber coming in the morning." That's
exactly
how things
right.
were in the Soviet Union.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you even more. So or I would say, I should say, most of the cars that were manufactured in the USSR, their design was basically stolen from Western companies. Okay, and not only that, not only that you had to wait for years in a line for a car. Okay, there were 2 things. First of all, if you were going for a better car, the KGB could show up on your doorstep and ask, where did you get the money to pay for such an expensive car, which was sold legally in the communist system. And not only that, those cars, besides being their design being stolen from Western companies, when they came out from the manufacturing plant, they needed to be taken to a mechanic to fix all the problems that had come out with from the plant. So the quality was horrible. Okay. I will tell you a couple more things. For example, I studied what the communists called political economy. For example, here in the West, we call it the economics. There they called political economy. So politics is about 50% of what they teach about economy. Communism is exclusive state ownership of means of production, which
Hammer, look what I found. You have secrets?
includes land. All right,
Oh no,
nobody
Lord.
owned land in the Soviet Union, and socialism,
Thanks, Lauren.
right? And
Sorry.
socialism is regulation of the market through heavy regulation, heavy taxation, directing funds produced by the nation's economy towards what usually one party believes socially good projects.
Mhm.
So let me tell you, in the end, I mean, to make the long story short, the a communist economy necessarily crumbles. It doesn't work. It's a nightmare. It's a huge bureaucracy, impossible to think in ways other than what the party line says. So, nightmare.
Okay.
Never go there.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks to GG Red for the super chat. A factory manager in USSR, if the factory output was below quota, the manager could be unalived or else find someone else to blame so they get unalived. Ilmatic says, how about when people compare kibbutz to communism? I mean, yeah, I think there is portions of it that are like that, but I don't think...
They're voluntary.
Yeah, they're...
Voluntary.
voluntary. 2, I don't really know what the purpose of bringing it up is. A small little community versus an entire country centralized around the government control would be obviously significantly different. Anyways.
And by the way, even the kibbutzim today are so much different than they were when they started. They've moved away from that model, and they become far more capitalist with exporting. In a communist or truly communist system, you shouldn't be exporting the product that you're farming on the kibbutz internationally, no less. You know what I mean? They sell this stuff all over the world. If it was communist, you're just supposed to feed yourselves and feed the, people around you.
Resistencia says Sharia will be spread to the entire world. It will benefit humanity. Yeah. Nick, please bring Pally up. Tell them to request.
We don't have requests, sir.
You guys, if you're friendly, don't request. Sharia law. Will Sharia be beneficial for everyone in humanity, or you just kind of mean a generalized statement? What does that mean?
Who are you talking to?
Somebody in the chat said Sharia will be across the entire world and it'll benefit humanity.
You realize every time they say Muslims and these people lived in peace, it was just kind of peaceful for them.
Correct. Correct. They answered. Jews and Christians will be saved under Sharia law. Okay. How about non-Jews and non-Christians? What about anyone else? Will they also be safe? How about people who maybe I disagree with, but I don't necessarily think the same punishment should exist? Like, let's say, the LGBT community. How are women treated under Sharia? Are women treated equally in a court system, in a Sharia court, as men are?
What happens to the 1.5 billion Hindus? Go ask a really, really devout Muslim what he thinks of Hindus.
Yeah.
Because they're polytheists, they dislike Hindus more than Jews.
Also, how will Jews and Christians be protected under Sharia? What do they have to do to get that protection? Okay, Resistencia says, okay, you're just repeating yourself. You didn't answer any of the questions. You just said people of the book will be treated well. Yeah, you already said that. You're not answering.
What about not people of the book?
Right, you didn't answer anything we just asked.
Right, and Kelly says, what happens when I don't comply with the jizya? What happens then? What happens? Anyone? Bueller?
Leroy, thanks for the super chat. Shit tree. Yeah, Muslims are very, very, very good at just avoiding the questions that debunk their entire narrative or point, and then they just like scream and crash out and freak out on just like saying one specific thing that they think is a good point. Resistencia says they will either comply and accept the faith or be dealt with. Oh, that doesn't sound safe. I thought you said they would be safe. Being forced into complying and 1 second, please. Or that doesn't sound like safe, which is what you said 5 seconds ago. Okay, go ahead, babe.
Is there a situation in which they don't have to pay because they can't? Like, is there anything like that?
There's a concept in certain times when jizya was being applied where it would be literally less if you couldn't pay or you were poor. But ironically, the jizya actually exponentially affected poor people
Muslims.
more. No, they don't have to pay jizya. Jizya exponentially affected poor people more than it did rich because of percentage-wise. That's why a lot of Muslims will say, oh, jizya wasn't that bad because historically it would be less than zakat anyways, which is 2.5%, except that's a very gaslighting answer, which is what Muslims are good at. And it actually showed that there were times 6. There was even some examples of 40% at times, but obviously, I'll be real, that was rare. But a lot of times it was like 6% of their wealth in terms of the poorer individuals, people with less money.
Nick, would you say that the jizya was the The OG flat tax?
I don't know.
I wonder if Steve Forbes got it from the jizya when he came up with the flat tax concept, or if he just came up with it on his own. My guess is the latter.
Leroy, thanks for the super chat. How is communism and socialism sold to every generation as something new and better? Because most people are lazy. Most people are. There was a study done that said when people make a goal, and when I say a goal, I'm not talking about something small, something like actually worthy. Do you know what percent? Like, could you guys guess what percentage of people actually meet that goal? Not like something super hard either. I'm not saying like this like life-changing goal, just not like super simple ones. Just general goals, you know, ones that you would think most people would be able to accomplish.
Not a lot.
8%.
I would've said
92%.
10,
92% don't accomplish it. So when you look at that, right, and you
That's why
get
motivation is like
I
short-lived.
don't agree with you, Nick. I don't think
doesn't
most
matter.
people are
That's a
lazy.
study.
No, I'm not disagreeing with the study. I think that study's limited to the thesis statement within the study. I think broadly speaking, at least Americans, I'm going to speak about Americans. I think Americans are broadly not lazy. I think there's a segment of the population that is.
I so disagree with you.
I think I don't think so. I think the success of this country couldn't come from laziness. This country's built on hard work. You've got millions and millions of people that
We're less
to the-
lazy than other countries for sure.
Oh, I think there is a
Like-
segment of the population, too much.
Did you say
And I think
millions of people, so less than 1%?
No. I'm saying a significant majority, but I think there's a quarter to a third of the population, and I don't think it's equal across all demographic groups. But I think it's 25 to 33% are probably lazy. But I think most people work their ass off, try to provide for their families, try to do a good job at work. I really do believe that. And I think the
so too.
success of this country can only be partially explained by that fact, because you don't build these amazing products and these amazing businesses and small businesses.
Less than 1% of the less than
much lazier.
less than
recently.
1% of the population builds these amazing products. So I disregard
No,
that.
but it takes a lot of people to implement them. And by
Yeah,
the way,
but okay, but
small
to-
business accounts for 50% of all new hires in this country. And small
Right,
business, don't
and
tell me any small business people are.
I
not
don't
working their ass
believe. Okay, I don't believe. Well, first off, no, not all, not even close. But I don't believe that working a job means you're working your ass off. And also, even if it did, that could also be explained by the fact of, well, you'll die if you don't. So that could be a sense of necessity, not a sense of not being lazy.
Well,
I think
no, that's okay. So you're straw manning me. I never said having a job means you're not lazy. I said there are people who work and do a good job at their job and aren't lazy. Of course,
For
there's
sure.
lazy people at their job.
For
Of course,
sure,
there's lazy people at
but
their job. And it doesn't matter what your motivation is. It doesn't matter if your motivation is starvation or death. If you're working hard, you're working hard. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
what I'm
Intention is
saying,
irrelevant.
what I judge being, if not lazy, I'll go ahead and shift from lazy to just those that are not lazy, because there's also someone who's neutral. They're not lazy, but they're also not
What's going
whatever
on
the
here, guys?
opposite. 1 second.
Why are you being exposed?
Okay, yeah, Lauren's making AI photos. Anyways,
It's
so what I will say, right, is that there's lazy, and then there's kind of, I guess, neutral, and then there's people who are like hardworking. Me personally, and maybe you don't agree, I judge that based off of where you are at and just the average or the status quo. Right now, the status quo, the average, the generalized idea is to have a job so you can at least at minimum survive, if not do a little bit more. Okay. If you're willing to do that and then go beyond that, because you are someone who looks at that and says, I don't want just the average, I want to go beyond that. That's what I consider to be beyond the neutral or lazy position. And I don't think most Americans, especially when it's easier than ever before. It, like, entrepreneurship is at its peak today than any generation before it, and yet somehow I don't see that percentage actually being upheld within America.
I don't agree. I think you're having too strict of a definition of what lazy is, or too high of a bar set. I think if a person wakes up, shows up on time, puts in a good shift, comes home, that's not lazy to me. Again,
Yeah, and
there are
I
people that
shifted
waste
to
time at work.
neutral. I shifted to neutral.
That's not neutral. That
is neutral.
Hardworking.
That's
hardworking.
That's
If you
literally
put in a good shift-
literally the neutral position.
I don't agree.
What do you mean? If you don't do a good job multiple times, you get fired. So that's the neutral position.
Not necessarily. It depends on the line of work you're in. That's for sure. But I think
You
if
think
you
you
put in a
could you
good
think you could
shift and do your
consistently
job
put in a
well,
bad
you do your
shift?
job well, you're not lazy.
You
That's all I ask from the people that work for me.
It's
Just do
getting a
your
little
job
bit
well.
too detailed.
You
I
think you could get into you think you can put in multiple bad shifts and not get at least punished, if not fired over time?
It depends. I mean, if you're in a company with 150,000 people, like in Walmart, you could probably get away with a couple
Okay,
weeks.
but that's entry level jobs. Obviously, I'm speaking of most Americans are okay. I don't know. Well, you know, you're right. Maybe I have a higher standard. I don't know. Could be.
And there's
could be right.
definitely too many lazy people. And I think the lazy people, if you look at it demographically speaking, it leans very young, unfortunately, which is ridiculous because
yeah, that's why I said that we're getting lazier because this generation is just like
I just think that, especially when looking at the younger, it seems. I mean, it doesn't seem that odd to me. I kind of get it, but like, we are at a position today where you could do something as a side thing that actually can make more than just the average normal job. Easier today than any time ever before in history, by far. It's not even kind of close. And yet somehow
it requires the hustle. It requires hustle.
And yet somehow we're seeing the generations getting lazier at the same age as prior generations at that same age. And I get to an extent that
people
could
their age fought in World War II. Like,
well, not even that. I'm not even talking about that. Now, I get that can be explained by the fact that, well, with easier ways to invent and do entrepreneurship, it'll also lead to a more prosperous country and life, and therefore, naturally, when you have better times, you're going to have lazier people. So I'm not saying I'm super confused at it. It's just frustrating when it's like, there's ways to, like, do things that our prior generations couldn't even have dreamt of doing, and people are just ignoring it.
Because they were lied to. The generation, you're a little old, but the generation after you, or like half generation after you, were lied to by academia.
They were the COVID kids, by the way.
Huh?
The COVID kids.
Like that too, but that's too recent.
That's later.
Because you're talking about kids now that are in their 20s, 10 years ago, as pre-COVID, but they were lied to. They were lied to by academia. They were lied to by their teachers. They were lied to by their parents. They were sold this false idea that if you go to college, everything's going to be set up for you. And that's just not the way the world works. The economy changes. Like you said, this is a hustle economy. You don't need a college degree to be successful in this
it was the
economy.
last generation. Like, I think ours, millennials, was the last generation that like bought the idea of you need to go to college to succeed.
Oh, they're still buying it. You have no idea.
The cat's out of the bag at this point.
They're
the
buying
kids today,
it.
They're still buying it. You have no idea. The competition amongst kids, I saw it with both my oldest and my middle. These people are crazy about going to school. They're crazy about it. It's insane.
Because they're lazy and they'd rather just do the thing that every other person's doing instead of saying, I'm going to step in that direction. Maybe lazy is not the right word.
I don't think that's lazy. They're promised a more prosperous life. They're promised more success, more financial security if they go down one avenue.
But I hear what you're saying.
As opposed to the other avenue.
Okay. I think that there's no way in hell that at least most of them don't understand that there might be some kind of lie there. They have woken up to that and they're still choosing it because it's right in front of them. There's already whole entire offices set up for it where you just go in, you're like, can I just do this? And they're like, yeah, you're
They're special. No, because they're snowflakes. Because they can look at those people that aren't making it and say, oh, I'm not like them because mommy and daddy and my teacher and my academic advisor told me I'm really special.
Hey, Hammer, Stephanie said in the comments, intellectual laziness. Can we call it that?
It is that.
I don't think no, going to college doesn't make you intellectually lazy. It just makes you unwise as it relates to mapping out a future path. And again, the expectation
I don't know, guys.
We as adults have with regards to allowing 17-year-olds to make lifelong decisions. I'll tell you, I know this from going through it myself with my kids. You have some parents who took a very hands-off approach with their kids. Where do you want to go? I'll pay for it. You can go wherever you want. My wife and I took a very hands-on approach. This is what we're going to spend. This is where you can go. And you're not going to go to college to take bullshit liberal arts classes. That's not going to help you. You're going to go into a specific major that's going to give you the best opportunity to get a job when you get out of college. So I think there's there's multiple different kinds of parenting approach. And parents just take a hands-off approach and trust their 17-year-olds to making lifelong decisions about their future. And it's proving to be an unwise decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more frustration for kids.
Okay. About?
Just the idea that I think our generation, when I talk about our generation, like I'm Gen X, and I look at my kids, and I go to the grocery store and I spend $400 on groceries. I don't think twice about it. But then I start thinking about it, and I was like, how are my kids going to be able to do that in 10 years?
Because they don't have to buy for a family. They have to just buy for themselves.
Yeah, okay.
And the other thing that's hurting young
kids aren't going
people,
to have a family?
the other thing, well, that's the other thing that's hurting young people is especially women.
It's frustrating because now my kids have to have roommates. My kids have to have
Okay, well, that's
woman.
life. I had
My
roommates
kids-
too. I had roommates till I was 20.
Dude, I didn't have a room. I've never had a roommate.
I had a roommate till I was
never
24
had
years old,
to
and it was
deal with-
great because I got a bigger apartment.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that you
But
mentioned,
they don't have a choice. You understand the difference?
I didn't have a choice either. I couldn't afford a single place to myself.
Yeah, I did.
But again, there's another issue here that you.
What I'm
There's another
saying
issue
is
here that
our
you skip.
generation, the kids that we're raising, the ones you're looking at and judging for being lazy, don't have a fucking choice, and
Okay,
it's frustrating for them.
Okay,
And
too
it's
bad. Tough
frustrating
shit.
The idea that they got
Tough shit. Too bad.
$20 in no
Too
shit,
bad. They need
Really?
parents like you.
Really?
They need
I'm
parents
sure-
like
They need
you.
I'm
parents
sure
like
kids
me.
back fighting
need
in World
parents
War
like
II
you.
were
Their
frustrated
fucking
too, you know?
incomes, so they don't get
Yeah,
frustrated.
I'm gonna.
They need
Yeah,
parents like you to
make
look
it
them in the
in
eye
the
and tell
economy.
them,
I
dude,
do.
stop
I look
talking
at
for
them
a
and I'm like,
second
I'm
and listen.
sorry, we fucked this
Stop
up so bad
talking
for
and
you.
listen for a second. They
Oh,
need
okay.
parents like
I'm
you.
sorry.
They need parents like you to look them in the eye and tell them, tough shit. Put on your big boy pants. Life isn't perfect. You might have to have a roommate for a little while. It'll save you money in the long run. Nothing's going to be handed to you. Okay? That's just the way it is.
yeah, I'm gonna mimic what my wife just said. I don't know if you guys heard her, but I'm pretty sure during World War II, those teenagers also thought, well, my parents, well,
We're a little
actually,
bit
their parents
frustrated.
probably did. There's a lot of people that are frustrated, and yeah, you're right, it does suck, and I wish everything was all like sunshine and roses, but like, yeah, tough shit, dude. I was originally from Compton. We were poor, and not like lower middle class. Like we were poor, right? We didn't even have a car. One second. We didn't even have a car that would back up, right? And so I joined the military. If I didn't, I certainly would have had roommates just like Cameron. I wouldn't have been able to afford that at all, right? The only
And Nick
reason
is
I was
the most
even
successful sibling out of the.
yeah, and I'm the most successful sibling out of all my siblings. Now, don't get me wrong. Or not even don't get me wrong. The only reason I was able to even kind of afford my first used car is because when I was 2 years old, before I even remembered, I got like severe food poisoning, and my parents, you know, they sued. They won like a tiny amount. The judge put it into a CD that was locked until I was 18. So you know, I had like it was not even 10,000. It was like enough to get me like a decent used car. I went to college for a little bit. I joined the military, and then I became nuclear engineer. I do engineering inspections and The rest is history. But like, yeah, sometimes people have to do things that the last generations didn't have to. And guess what? The next generations might have it easier. They might have it even harder. I don't know.
Frustration is frustration. Like everybody goes through it for however many years humanity is.
Yeah, life sucks.
And the other thing
Walking
that's
with.
hurting kids financially, especially women, is delaying marriage. Marriage is a financially stabilizing thing. All the data shows that married couples are more financially stable, more comfortable.
What's
more
the
optimistic.
divorce rate?
It doesn't. I didn't say get divorced. I said get married.
What's the divorce rate?
The divorce rate is actually
You
about a
wanna
third.
argue
It's
marriage
actually
with me?
about a third.
Of what?
Why are you
A third
hopping
of
over
marriage
to
is
a
A
actually
divorce?
third
ending
of gay
divorce.
couples or a third of
A
heterosexual?
third of straight couples.
Bullshit.
It's not 50%. It's bullshit.
It's
That
like
methodology
60
is
something.
nonsense.
It's almost 60% of
So you know what?
married
Tell your
couples get
kids.
divorced.
You know what? No
I
wonder
tell
your
my
kids are
kids don't. I
frustrated.
tell my boy, do not get married. Like
Okay,
ever.
no wonder your kids are frustrated.
Yeah,
They have a
here's
That's
shitty
what you
shitty
tell your
parent,
kids?
yeah.
They have
That's
a shitty
horrible.
father who's
That's
giving
what
them
I tell
bad
my
advice.
boy.
That's horrible. So you're setting them up for a life that might actually
No,
make
I'm
them
setting my
miserable.
son. Actually, I'm setting my son up for a life of financial security.
I
No,
thought
you're
you said he
not.
was frustrated.
What's more
No,
important,
I
family
didn't
or
say I'm
money?
frustrated. I didn't say he's frustrated. I just said
You
that the
did say that. You
majority
did
of
You
actually
kids.
said
say
they're
that.
frustrated.
No, I said the majority of kids. I didn't. I'm not talking about my personal.
So what makes your kid
my
different?
personal kid?
Well, then get him married.
One
because
second.
the
One
data-
second. What makes your kid different?
He's different because he was raised with the idea of if you want it, you have to go get it.
There you
Okay, so why can't other? So you do agree it is about attitude? Then fine. We'll put the word laziness aside.
That's
Let's
the
call it
fir-
attitude.
Now we're talking.
I've said that this whole time.
When you
What do you
call
mean now we're
kids-
talking? This is no different than what we already were saying.
He already
what I
clarified
said-
that
what
he
I-
was
what I
shifting the
said
word.
was what I'm arguing is your idea of lazy, and what I'm saying is it's not laziness per se. It's more frustration. It's more they're hitting brick walls. and
If I
they're giving
had
up.
you as a dad, I'd be frustrated for sure. I'm just gonna be real with you.
No,
If my dad
well,
said,
you'd
my
be a
dad
lot
said to
richer than
me,
you are now. I'll
I
tell you that.
probably not. I mean,
I'm pretty sure.
I make very, very good money. I guess
So does
I
my
could.
son. Yeah. So,
Okay,
You
but
know,
I don't.
being in a
One
relationship
second.
and having a family.
So then we're good then.
Okay,
All right.
I one sec. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by a lot richer. I make very, very, very decent money. I'm very comfortable with where I'm at. But that being said,
Cool.
if I had a dad that said, "Hey, never ever have a family, never get married. It's just gonna lead to financial failure or at least degradation," I would be a
You're saying
very
so many things with that
miserable. I would be very miserable person.
Plus, the data doesn't support it. The data is clear. We're not talking about divorce. Married
Why would
couple.
you want to prevent your kids from falling in love and having a family? That's actually a human need.
Because
married couples,
it's-
all the data, there is no countervailing data. All the data shows married couples report higher levels of satisfaction, more financial success.
Married men,
couples
married
report
women, or married heterosexual.
higher levels of satisfaction with their sex lives. There is no data to show that being single leads to a happier, more content life. Married couples have it better by every metric.
True, it's just
There is
true.
no argument.
Okay.
Most
Every married
successful
guy,
people are married.
If you get married, you have a 60% chance of not being
No, you
married.
don't. No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Look
That's not even an accurate. I have looked it up. That's not an accurate statement at all.
Oh, really? In 10 years, what's the divorce rate?
It's not 60%. Oh, and also,
What is
Hammer's
it?
correct.
What
The
is it?
methodology.
What is it?
If you can just shut
Throw
the
it out
fuck
there.
up
Come
for
on.
a second. You sound very miserable. I got to be honest. You sound miserable. So you are
divorced?
living proof.
Sound
Yeah.
bitter.
Are you
divorced?
married?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, so you're living
Exactly.
proof, right? Because I'm over here nice, calm, and happy, and you are
How
just
old
like,
are you?
stop
How long have you been married?
talking.
I promise you it won't last.
19 years
Okay.
for me.
Okay, listen, I don't really care what you do or don't think, okay? It's not in my interest.
Not a
I'm
think
saying,
thing, it's just the numbers. The numbers
Okay.
don't work for you.
yeah, so again, my numbers are working very well for me, probably better than you. I'm just going to be real with you. Unless you're like a millionaire. Are you a multi-millionaire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then congratulations. I don't believe you. I got to be honest. I don't at all.
You don't have
I
to
don't
be.
believe. Okay, because I've never met someone who's a multimillionaire who's as miserable as you. Okay, I've never met
Dude,
it.
I'm a really...
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and have to treat you like a child now because you don't know when to stop talking. So I have to mute you. Okay. So just so you know, the rate of divorce at 10 years is about 40%, and that's not even accurate because Hammer's correct. The methodology of that, it's actually closer to a third. But if you want to just take the raw number, it's still nowhere near 60%. You took 150% of the actual rate. So you are incorrect. Okay? I really need you to understand how wrong you actually are. Second, people who are multimillionaires don't pause and go, They don't do that. So again, I'm going to take a very strong guess that it's just, I just don't agree with you. Or I don't believe you, excuse me. That being said, if I could, because I have a quote-unquote inspiring story, whatever you want to call it. If I could give up all of that story, right? Or if I had to keep that story but never, ever, ever find a family, a wife, my son that I have. I had to give all that up just to keep that story. I'd give that story up in a second, right? Doesn't mean I wanted to be like dirt poor, living hungry, or on the streets and homeless. I think there's a balance there, of course. But I would give all that up in a second if it meant getting to keep my wife, my son, possibly future children, for sure. So the fact that you're telling your kid to give up what's infinitely more important than life, than something like money, something they print every fucking day, is insane. You hate your son.
It's
Like,
one
you-
of the needs that humans have, like, at the top of the list. Why would you try and, disqualify your children from like experiencing those types of things?
Would you? Let me ask you. I'll be
It's like the
whatever.
best feeling ever.
Go ahead and unmute. I have a question for you. If it meant 10 timesing your wealth, let's just go real high here. You get to 10 times your wealth, but you have to go back in time and you have to give up. I don't know how many kids you have, but I know you at least have one son, right? Would you give up your son for that? Let's go at 100 times your wealth. Let's say you get to 100 times it. Can you unmute and answer that question? Would you give up your son? Do you not know how to unmute? You're a multimillionaire, but you don't know how to click the mic button?
By the way, you're not unaliving in this situation, right? You're
Right. Yeah, you're not unaliving. It's just like it goes back in time and he never existed in the first place.
Oh God, no! I would never.
Why? Why?
Well, I could have 20 sons.
Yeah, but why? Why would you? I'm sorry. What?
Your mic's
all weird.
Hold on a minute.
I'm gonna take a wild guess. Oh, okay.
I would.
Hold on.
No,
You got
20. I could have 20 sons. I don't need to get married to have a kid.
Okay. All
This
right.
idea that you have to get married to have kids is stupid.
No, nobody thinks you literally have to get married to have kids, but I got you. You just
Well,
want a
then
bunch
why
of
would you
baby
say that?
mamas.
Why would you ask
Stop
me that
talking. Jesus,
okay.
somebody who's a
All right,
multimillionaire, you are very, very immature for someone who's quote unquote a multimillionaire, which again, I really want to make clear, I don't believe at all.
I don't know how
Anyways.
many millionaires sit up on TikTok lives to argue their.
Well, no, I think you can have time. I don't mind that. It's how he acts. People
No, I'm
who have
saying how he's
people
spending his
who
time.
are no, that doesn't bother me at all. You can be a billionaire and do that. But what I will say is that people who are successful in that are generally more mature and more patient. Anyways, no, you're
I would
correct.
argue-
You could be a degenerate. You could have, I guess, just be sleeping around, and yeah, you could end up having a lot of kids. I would argue that those kids would not be raised in as successful of a
Right.
household or be as emotionally stable as somebody who has a bunch of half brothers and sisters with different moms all over, different parts of the world. Or let's say it was the same or the same mom even, and you had 20 kids and you guys were just, let's say, strong sexual partners, right?
It's proven that human beings do better when both parents are in the house. That's
Correct.
it. Period. End of story. That is there's no denying this piece of information.
I would argue from a male point of view, this is going out to all the men. A man cannot reach his full potential without being married.
That's correct.
Facts. It's so true.
Full maturation, maturity, wisdom requires the sacrifice and the selflessness that comes about with marriage. If you're not in a position to recognize that lives depend on your success, your
Right.
wife and your children,
Mm-hmm.
you can never really reach your full potential as a man. That it's a man's destiny to be a protector and a
Provider.
provider, thank you, for his family. And that when you do that, when you achieve that, and then you see the fruits of that success as your kids grow up and transition into the real world,
Right.
and you recognize that you were an integral part of that process for however many years, that's when a man reaches his full potential. Without marriage,
Sure.
without that sacrifice, that willingness to give of yourself to
Right, and-
another human being, to other human beings, you can't really be a man.
Yeah. Without it, you will resort back to more or less. Obviously, every individual is different. And to the dumbass in the chat that said you can be a good person without kids, he never said you couldn't be a good. Okay, dude, you got this background noise, so we're just gonna move on from you. Okay. Anyways,
Anything about good or bad?
yeah, nobody said that. And the reason you guys answer in that way is because you're trying really hard to like not understand what Hammer's saying, or you really are just not smart enough to like click. Nobody said you would be a bad person without them, or a bad person without marriage or anything. He said full potential. He didn't say 90% of your potential. He didn't say 80%. He said full. And it's true, right? It is. It's you will resort back to our more basic instincts, right, as males, which are obviously different than how women act, right? We have a different basic instinct. And that gets,
I think
we
women
override,
women's version is like giving birth. I think women
we
or
override,
they reach their full potential when they're become mothers. Sorry.
we override that when we have a family, 100%. He's a millionaire, but at the work site on a Saturday night. Yeah, no, he's not a multimillionaire, definitely not. But yeah, listen, it's insane. If I had a dad that told me like never marry, ever just gonna get a divorce,
like a miserable life.
Sounds like a drunk who got divorced and she took half his earnings and now he's just like a miserable person now. If I had a dad like that, yeah, I would grow up to have been a loser. My dad very much taught me different values, and it's why I had such a sharp shift compared to my childhood. And just so everyone understands, I am the most successful sibling. And the reason that's important to mention in this aspect is because my siblings grew up in a different household. Okay. We have the same mom, different dads, right? So they grew up in a different household than the dad that raised me. It's not that we didn't see each other a lot. It's not that they sometimes didn't, stay over, but just generally speaking, my dad taught me with slightly different values. And not that like my oldest sister, not that she's not very social, she is. I'm just saying, to put it in the nicest way I can, right? The values that my father that raised me taught me is evident in the fact of me essentially being in that different household and being raised, having a different outcome in a significantly more prosperous way. Just one more sentence. If I had the dad that like the guy that was just up here, I would probably be a loser.
Nick, can you bring me an Odonocitron, please?
Two things real quick. One to Gardenberg, who wrote, "Our purpose in life is not marriage or procreation." Well, actually, that's technically wrong. Biologically speaking, that is our sole purpose. From a strictly biological perspective, procreation, creating the next generation to fulfill and take care of the older generation, that's exactly why we're here for. And as another second point, as it relates to marriage, and I tell this to my girls, if you're a woman, I'm not saying settle, I'm saying set reasonable expectations about what you're looking for in a man, and recognize that men grow into the role of husband. It's very rare you're going to meet a ready-made husband, especially in your early to mid-20s. So what you should be looking for is potential, not the finished product. And it is a good thing for women to get married in their early to mid-20s. It's good for women. It's good for men. Have your kids before
I
you're
would
30
break
if
it
you
down
can.
to like the simplest terms. Like there are so many things. I think everything basically that men do is to impress women. I mean, if you really just break it down scientifically there. So when you take that away from a man, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from this conversation. Before I get to Sydney, let me just read the super chat. Huge super chat by Legima.
Society's become so much more feminine.
Thank you. Legima, thank you for the huge super chat. I'm 37. I remember 07 when I started college. There were plenty of kids who joked about how they knew their degree was worthless and they could never pay it back. I've always called BS on the idea that society misled people into college. Yeah, I think I actually agree with you on that. 96 Civic, if you need a woman / marriage / family to achieve your full potential, you have limited potential to begin with. Logical answer. Here's 499. Yeah, no, you don't need anything. Nobody says you need in the sense that it's literally impossible without it. We're saying that, and of course, 8 billion people in the world, about half of them are males, or I think it's 49%. Yes, not everyone's exactly the same. So no, you don't need anything. However, every study shows, and Hammer's right, there's nothing that counters it, shows the opposite of being true. Does that mean you won't have a story of somebody who has, and by the way, couldn't even prove it anyways, right? Because even if you found a successful story of a guy who never even had a girlfriend, let alone a marriage or a family, and let's say he's super successful, you still don't even know if that's his full potential. So it's not even like you could prove your point anyways. But nonetheless, yes, we get it. There might be some stories.
I think you do need it. I think it is impossible for a man to reach his full potential without marriage.
Again, there's no way to prove it anyways, because again, even if somebody says, well, look at this, my friend Jack, he became a billionaire and he never married or never even had a kid in his whole life and he just died at the age of 85. Like, you don't even know if that was his full potential. Also, what does full potential even mean? Is it how much money you have in your bank account? Full potential could be other things. In which case, well, let me get this out real quick. Which in what case, Hammer's absolutely correct. In which case, you absolutely do need a family if we're measuring potential that way. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just listening. You can't measure it because it's a state of being. It's a behavioral thing. But I don't think you can become selfless and recognize the meaning of sacrifice if you're not committed.
Absolutely.
And owe a certain responsibility to your family. If you're only responsible to yourself and not anyone else, you can't learn what selflessness and sacrifice means from a human perspective. You can.
That's why you always hear from men when they have their first child, like, this affects me way more than I anticipated. Like, it's something that humans are supposed to do. That's
and you
why
see it in the animal
good.
kingdom, right? A new cub is born, and the daddy lion will slaughter anything to protect that little baby. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is.
Science,
We were built.
It's mostly the mommy lions, but yeah, you're right.
Well, the daddy lion just looks mean and scares everyone away.
That's true, but the women lions are the kind of badasses in that. Anyway, Sydney, what's up? Let's get past this conversation. Okay, I gotta answer this though. Turbo Mitzvah. Most men are crap and will stay lazy their whole lives and abuse their families. I'm gonna go ahead and assume you're being at least, I hope, a little facetious here or exaggerant. Like, you really believe over 51%, like minimum. I don't know what you mean, but you said most. You really believe most are abusive to their families? Like you actually think that? Because I'm very, if you do, I'm not even going to criticize you. I'm going to legitimately feel bad because that means you had some seriously bad relationships to the point that you actually think that most men would abuse their, not even just, like, if you said most men are lazy, I'd still think that's wrong, but I wouldn't even read it. But most men would abuse their family?
Well, the funny thing is,
that's insane.
Women are more likely to commit domestic violence. Women are more likely to abuse children.
Women are more likely to abuse children. That is true. And also, when you look at men relationships and women relationships, the domestic violence in women is actually significantly higher.
It's the highest.
It's actually, you're right. It's highest than any other relationships, including heterosexual. And even with those statistics, I would still never say that most women or most anything would be that. That's an insane take. And again, I'm not even like mad at you. I'm actually legitimately like, that's sad that you actually think that. But, you know, some people rather be miserable in life and just think something about men or women or whatever than...
Like, the data for lesbian relationships is through the roof. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's just insane. The women that think that way, too, are always the ones that are the most miserable, too. Him, you got a echo? I don't know if it's because your mic or your speaker's really high up, but can you turn that down or something?
Yeah, hey, Nick. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm 20 years old and I'm going to be debating Sneeko this week on his stream. I'm Jewish. I just wanted to maybe get like some blessing, from you, because I think you're an amazing person and just
thank you, but I can't bless you. I'm not like divine or anything like that.
No, maybe some advice and just
advice.
No, I mean, you could also give a blessing, I guess. Why not?
I'm not gonna do that. That sounds like a violation of my first commandment. But that being said, I will tell you my biggest advice to you is to hold him to a point. He will try to deflect, right? Especially when you corner him. Try to hold him to that point, right? It is better to even look like maybe You're just somebody who he's going to try to twist the narrative to pretend like you're avoiding the topic when in reality it is 100% him that's going to be doing it. Well, I don't know how you debate, but hypothetically. And just hold him to that. And when he tries to shift, you might, even if he shifts to something you're like, ooh, I have an answer for this, try not to take that bait. Even sometimes I fail at that, but try not to. I know it's very tempting. It's very, very, very tempting. But just, yeah. Just try your best not to take that bait. Hold it to a specific topic, and when you have him cornered, that's when you put the boot down and like push harder.
Are you any good at debating?
What did you say?
Are you any good at debating?
Yeah. So I've been in contact with his team, and he's interested. So
No, that's not what I asked you. I asked if you're any good, because if you're not any good, you're going to get steamrolled, and he's going to make you look stupid.
Are you?
I answered you. I said yes.
But you didn't substantiate what makes you good.
Did you? Well, let me ask you. Are you debating Israel-Palestine?
I mean, that's probably gonna be a big part of it. But,
okay, I think Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza.
Absolutely not. This whole, I mean,
dude, there's been so many children. There's been 20,000 plus children that have been killed. The number's probably significantly higher. I think it's like 600,000 people have been killed.
First of all, 600,000 is totally inaccurate.
Nope, there's a study. There's a study from the Middle East Eye Monitor that actually says 688,000 have been killed.
That's totally incorrect.
Okay.
Actually, the correct. No. I mean, let's. Okay, first of all, you call me off guard. I mean, I didn't come up here.
How do you know?
Show my debating skills, but what's it called? Hamas and many other. What's it called? First of all, that's not even a credible source. I mean, that's totally. I mean, that's.
How do you know it's not credible? Who are you to say it's credible? And also, you guys always just say Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. What does that mean?
Well, first of all, Hamas themselves said that it's between 70 and 75,000.
Okay, but that doesn't include everyone. That's just the ones that they've been able to verify. That doesn't include all the people that are underneath the rubble.
I mean, that's not verified either. I mean, they don't know themselves either.
Okay, but there are studies out there that have estimated it around 688,000. So sure, you can say maybe it's not exactly that, but fine, let's call it 300,000. That's
all
still
those casualties has been committed by Israel.
Yeah, 100%.
And what's the evidence for that?
The evidence is who's the one doing the bombing in Gaza? What do you mean?
Well, who's first? I mean, Nick. I mean, come on. We both know it's not 680,000. Just
okay, fine. Let's say it's 300,000.
No, it's not 300,000. We know that.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, between me and you, it's 75,000, and half of them is Hamas. So
we don't. Where are you getting that number from? How do you know it's half of them are Hamas? And also, we don't know because Hamas themselves, the Gaza Ministry of Health, has said those are only verified deaths of 70 to 75,000. We don't know how many unverified deaths there are. And also, why is 75,000 okay for you? That's tens of thousands of lives.
Whoa! So I was about to say that half of them, or even more than half, is Hamas. So when you look at the ratio, it's 1-to-1, which is probably the best ratio.
Where are you getting that from?
What do you mean, where am I getting
Where are you getting a 1-to-1? How do you know it's 1-to-1?
Well, I mean, forget about sources, Nick, for a second. But
dude, 90% of Gaza has been destroyed.
Okay, but we're not talking about civilians. You're talking about buildings.
Okay, but if they're destroying it with the intent of ethnically cleansing them, are you okay with that?
Well, it's clearly not with the intent of ethnic cleansing.
Why else would you destroy 90% of buildings?
Because of many preventions that the IDF has taken, such as dropping leaf pamphlets, making lots of phone calls, things that if they were really trying to
you don't even know how many times they drop leaf pamphlets. They probably just do that sometimes just so they can get it on camera and say, look, we're not doing a genocide. I bet you they don't even do that 95% of the time.
Well, Nick, you got okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna be real with you. You're not ready. I wouldn't debate him. Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
You know what you did? You know what you messed up? It's not even you not knowing.
Because they always go back to 1948, the Nakba, and they use that to justify.
What if he doesn't? What if he doesn't? What if he doesn't?
There's no other justification for October 7th. That's the only thing they can go back to.
Yeah,
justify.
this is what you messed up when I was doing the little test run. It's not even you not knowing the information. First off, you should know why the 688,000 or 680,000 is incorrect. What you should say is that same exact study said 380,000 children under the age of 5 are killed, but the Palestinian Ministry of Health has only said 341,000 under the age of 5 even exist in Gaza. So it's not even possible to be 380,000, even if it is 100%. So it's not even you not knowing the statistics and how those studies work. But you should have stopped me and been like, okay, listen, you can say a billion different things. Is it okay? Can we go one point at a time? Because right now you're just trying to shotgun and steamroll this conversation. And then if he decides to continue to steamroll from there, which he could, yeah, it sucks, but at least he looks crazy. But right now, if I was Sneeko and you were getting destroyed.
But he doesn't talk the same way you do. He's not going to be like that.
You have no idea.
He's
Maybe
he's going to be more obnoxious.
Yeah,
I mean,
he might have been like Nick Mattel destroyed me so hard it went super viral around the world. I'm not gonna allow that again. He might get even more aggressive. I have no idea what he's like because he blocked me, so I don't even know what he looks like anymore. Or
he just debated Rabbi Mizrahi, if you know what that is. Rabbi Mizrahi, when he was
not on Israel Palestine really though. I mean there was some. Very little. And honestly, Rabbi Mizrahi didn't do that well, to be honest.
Okay, listen, I hear what you're saying, but I mean...
You're way too shy. You're way too stuttery. You don't know the statistics. I'm not... Listen, you do what you want. You're an adult. I'm doing this to help you, not to be a dick, right?
No, I understand. But I mean, just one point that I will address is that you said that he's not automatically going to go back to the 1948 Nakba to justify October 7th.
Okay, fine. I think October 7th was fine because you've been genociding us since 1948.
I mean, but Nick, you're just spewing out lies that have no evidence to them.
So 750,000 Palestinians weren't kicked out?
When has the IDF gone into Gaza slaughtering 1,200,000?
No. I'm talking about the river to the sea. I'm talking about the river to the sea. Dude, there's no evidence about babies in ovens, okay? That was anecdotal information. Nobody knows if that was even true or not. What about 1948? From the river to the sea, the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, which I don't even know if Sneeko's smart enough to know that, but from the river to the sea, there was 750,000 Palestinians that were pushed out by the Jews.
Yeah, that's called a just war. We waged the war.
That's called a just war. You get to put. So there was 750,000 Arabs in the land that were part of the military.
That was a terrible answer, by the way. That was it's a just war. It was a terrible answer. I mean, that answer is terrible. That's a bad answer. It's just a bad answer. It's not a good answer.
I mean, whatever. I'll just wait for Nick for a second. But I mean, you've been on my ass ever since I got into this live. You're like,
I'm trying to help you, bro.
I understand, but I didn't even see you guys caught me off guard. I didn't come into.
It doesn't matter. You should know this stuff inside and out. That's the point. If you don't know it inside and out, then you're not ready. It shouldn't be like, oh, I need to prepare myself. You should be ready. It should just be second nature. You can wait for Nick. He's not going to give you any different answer than I'm giving you. That was a shitty answer. I don't know what to tell you. You can pout. You can be upset about it. Listen, I'm not going to debate Sneeko.
Listen.
You are. You're the one that's going to get embarrassed, not me.
The reason it's listen. There's different types of debates. Okay, there are debates with. Okay, go ahead.
Just one more point, because also I think Sneeko has lost all of his credibility to make any criticism towards Israel, because him on his lives, he's vibing to Kanye's song, saying singing along the lyrics.
Why are you going there?
So right away, that just proves that he's a massive.
Why are you going there?
Wait, King, let me talk. That right away proves that he's just a massive anti-Semite.
Why does that matter?
He's an anti-Semite. Why are you going there? If he doesn't have credibility,
first of all,
why are you going there to give him credibility?
Okay, so first of all, stop. You don't know. I'm not going to tell you my motives of exactly why I'm
going. No. If something is not credible, why engage with it?
No, but I'm going to prove to him that he's not credible, and therefore
But you said he wasn't credible.
No, I'm saying, and therefore he forfeits his right to make any quote unquote.
That's not. Listen, right. Listen, dude.
When someone sings.
Listen,
they can say whatever they want, dude. It's America.
Yes, listen, dude. I get it. You're thinking relative. You're thinking, dude. Everyone knows who he is. You are not gonna go, dude. If my debate with him did not get people to really shift their opinion about him, no offense, I need you to not get offended by this, but you're not gonna do anything to him that's gonna shift that opinion. Okay? If I didn't, don't get me wrong, I did it to the point that it made a lot of people who already knew he was dumb be like, here's more proof of it. But I didn't shift anyone's opinion. Maybe on an individual level, maybe I did. But again, no offense, I'm different than you. Okay? But here's the thing. It doesn't actually matter, because that's not how the world works today. And I get it. I get what you're saying on an individual level, and I wish the world did work the way you were saying, right? Oh, I'm going to expose that he doesn't have the credit. That's not how the world works today. Nobody gives a shit, okay? Nobody cares if someone is an anti-Semite or not, right? If they are anti-Israel, they will listen to David Duke, Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, not Andrew Tate anymore because he's in jail, but Andrew Tate, right? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It's never been a good argument to try to shut down the pro-Pally side by just saying they're anti-Semites.
No, Nick, I understand. But when someone goes on their stream saying "Hail the H-man," I don't know if I want to say that on TikTok. I mean, you're saying nobody gives a shit. But
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit.
I mean, I strongly disagree.
Dude, Clavicular did that, and Clavicular was just in Israel.
Yeah, because Israel is the R word. I don't know if I'm going to say that on TikTok either. And they are, celebrating him like he's some sort of some Hasbara person.
But you still didn't answer my question. If you don't think he has credibility, why?
It's not about my personal opinion. I want to prove that he has no credibility. And
prove to whom?
To the audience, to everyone.
Oh, stop, dude. Who do you think you are? Seriously.
Listen,
Nick Sneitzer, so you want to talk to him because you don't like Abba over here giving you some blunt, hard advice. But who the fuck do you think you are, dude? Seriously, stop it. You're not going to go teach him a lesson. You're not going to challenge his credibility. The guy's a goofball. He's a clown. Okay?
He's not a clown.
People either recognize that or they don't recognize it. And you're certainly not going to be the person who's going to move the needle into thinking that, oh, God, this guy's not credible because him or whatever your username said it. Dude, Nick's a lot better at this than you.
No, I
You're not
understand.
going to do as well as him.
Okay, can I get a word out or not really?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably 20% of the reason for the stream would just be Israel Palestine, but it's not the focus, and I don't want to say the real motive of why I'm going on there. But if you were to watch it, you'll see.
Oh God, you know for sure I'm not watching that.
Yeah, look,
you're just a straight up hater. I don't even.
Why
care.
would I waste my time watching it, dude? I have a life.
If you had a life, you wouldn't be up here for 3 hours. Sorry to say.
I'm not up here for 3 hours. I'm up here for an hour and a half. And for
Every
the first
time I
hour,
go on his live,
where
you're
was
here.
I for the first hour?
Every time I go
Where
on his
was I
live,
for the
you're there.
first hour? Where was I for the first hour of the
I
live?
don't care. I don't care.
I was in my jacuzzi.
Listen, dude, you can do what you want. You're an adult, right? And I hope you do very, very, very well. I hope you do better than I did. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but
all these fanatic Zionists in the chat are flaming me because don't do it. You're gonna embarrass us.
well,
this, that.
let me ask that. I'm gonna ask you something. What happens if you go right? Hold on, just let me ask you. If you believe, okay, I need you to really pay attention to this question. If you believe that you're going to do something that even I couldn't when I debated him or anyone else, let's just say hypothetically, you have this plan, right? And you're like, this is going to shift the needle, even if it's just 1%, something's going to happen, right? Whatever that plan might be. Cool. Is it also equally as possible that maybe you go up there and your plan doesn't work perfectly? And it also, even if it's only a part of the debate, if not the whole debate, you actually embarrass yourself and he ends up like steamrolling you. Even if he looks like an idiot, it doesn't matter because the audience doesn't care if someone has a substantive argument in Sneeko's live. People that watch Sneeko are not looking for like I saw the point you were making and then I followed it throughout the couple hours you were debating and at the end you actually really did. So that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for what I did to you as pretending to be pro-Pally. If he even does half of that, that's what they're looking for. So what happens, or do you think it's possible that he might do even half of that and it makes you look bad?
Okay, first of all, I got phased from you because I did not expect you to start with.
If you are ready to debate, it doesn't matter if it's on the drop of a dime or if you have it in. When are you supposed to debate him?
I said the same thing.
I'm still in contact with his manager, but we're figuring out the date.
When do you think? Just give me an idea. It's like going to be in a week, a month?
Probably late this week or.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. If you're not ready now, you're not going to be ready in a week. You're not going to be ready in a month. Okay.
Hey, well, it's not. I called it a debate, but it's just a stream. It's not going to be primarily a debate. It's gonna.
That's a debate.
Okay, but it's not going to be like a serious one like the one you had with him. It's not going to be that.
Dude, I didn't even. I wasn't even supposed to debate him. Like, you're in contact with his manager. I just happened to catch him on Omi TV. It was literally the drop of a dime. I had no idea. Somebody told me, hey, he's on Omi. I was kind of like, oh yeah, maybe we'll connect to him, maybe we won't. And I just happened to connect with him. It wasn't even like I didn't even know that was going to happen.
Well, I just want to let you know I debated the Orthodox Muslim on YouTube, and it has 52,000 views. So I've already done
That's
debates
awesome.
with these Muslims.
They
So
weren't there for you.
Look, that's awesome, dude. I want you to do well. I do.
I know
I'm not.
you do. I know you have good intentions. I'm not stupid. I'm just explaining that. Okay, yeah. What were you gonna say?
Okay. No, I hope you do well. Listen, you're an adult. In the end, you can do whatever you want. All right. And maybe you're right. Maybe I really did just catch you off guard, and maybe you're going to have something completely different. I don't know. Maybe.
Want to bet on that, Nick? I'll bet you on that.
No, I'm not going to bet on it. Listen, I hope you do. Obviously, I say all the time. I say all the time that I want more people like me in the space, right? I want more people debating because one, I and the small amount of people that do this at least regularly, we need more people. We can't do it all by ourselves. And two, it's just because I always want what's best for Israel. So I hope you get in there, and I hope you absolutely crush it.
Okay, can I just make one more
Maybe
point?
3-1, Nick.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so if you watch the debate with Rabbi Mizrahi and his sidekick Aaron, what Sneeko did a major tactic. He takes advantage of the fact that his opponent is like kind of slow and out of it and not so in tune with the world. So there was a lot of actually good points there by Mizrahi made to him and a lot of good challenges that Sneeko didn't have the answer to, and he just lied straight to his face like a politician. For example, when Rabbi Mizrahi challenged him on the singing HH with Kanye's lyrics, Sneeko flat out lied about the lyrics in the song. He said that it just said all my N-words Yahtzees HH.
So what?
No, but these
So
are
what? Who
things
cares?
he's not going to be able to get away with me because.
So what? Okay, so I was wrong.
But
Okay, move
Nick,
on.
Nick, out of good faith, why are you shaking your head? Is that not a valid
I'll
point?
tell you, no, it's not, and I'll tell you why.
It doesn't
Is there
matter.
anyone who watches Sneeko that, like, anyone? He has millions of followers, I think 3 million followers. I want you to tell me even one of those 3 million. Do you think that they watch him more or less thinking like, oh yeah, Sneeko's not actually an anti-Semite, and then you come in and you're like, I have the lyrics printed out, it says it right here, here's the video of you saying it. Let's say you demolish him, and he even says, you know what, you're right, I did say that. Let's just say best case scenario. Do you think anyone that watches Sneeko is going to go,
Right. So,
oh my
so question for you,
gosh,
Nick.
he is?
According to your logic, why wouldn't he admit it to Rabbi Mizrahi? That was also
Is it because it
audience
doesn't
watching.
matter? It doesn't matter because he wanted to fuck with him. He wanted to just be a liar. But you're not trying to get him to admit, which he never will, by the way. But you're not trying to get him to admit that he's a liar. You're saying you're trying to shift the needle, meaning you're trying to get people that are either in the center or people maybe even on his side, best case scenario, to shift that needle. Even if you prove that everyone knows Sneeko's an anti-Semite, nobody is confused. It's not like he's like on the fence, like people are like, well, not really. No, nobody is confused. No, but oh my god, dude. Nick Fuentes. Do you think Nick Fuentes is an anti-Semite?
Yes.
He says all the time that he has Jewish friends. He says it all the time.
Same thing with Clav.
Right. Do you think anyone? One second. Do you think anyone is confused that Nick Fuentes is an anti-Semite?
No.
Okay, but he says he has Jewish friends.
Yeah, but that's just the propaganda line.
So do you think anyone's confused that Sneeko's an anti-Semite?
I actually do. Sneeko's a little bit different because, no. Let me explain. Because
You got a hard on for the Sneeko. That's what it comes down to, really.
No, because Sneeko is he's very sneaky. He's like a snake because he's friends with Aiden. He goes on things with Mizrahi.
You've got a personal thing with this guy, and you're not listening. You got a personal thing for this guy. He upsets you for some particular reason.
You don't let me talk. Ever since I came in,
because you're not saying. First of all. You say first of all.
Can you allow him to let me talk?
Because you're wasting everyone's time. You want to debate him, go debate him. You're going to get slaughtered. Okay, good. Mazel tov. Kinahura, go for it. Okay, it's not going to go well for you.
Are you Jewish? Just curious.
Am I Jewish? Yeah, from the waist down.
All right.
Dude, look.
Why does it matter if I'm Jewish? Why does that matter? You want to debate Torah with me? You want to debate Torah with me?
I would slaughter you in Torah, but we're not even.
Great. You know what? Good for you. Then you have then you should debate me in Torah, and I'll take one for the team. And don't go debate Sneeko.
Debate Sneeko on Toro. Listen, dude, you do what you want. You're an adult. I hope you do very well, obviously.
You think I'm that bad? Come on.
Yes, you're terrible. You start every sentence with first of all. Every sentence you started when you wanted to make
debate.
a point.
I'm not coming in locked in.
No, that's about speech patterns. You start every sentence when you're trying to make a point. You start every sentence with first of all. It's a terrible way to start a sentence.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if you're that bad or not. What I just saw, which was only about a minute, so take it with a grain of salt. I think debate is about 90% or 80 to 90% art and 10 to 20% science. There, you can be the most knowledgeable person in the world. You can have as much knowledge as I have about Israel, Palestine, and the history and all that. You could have 100 times that knowledge, right? And still lose a debate if you don't have that 80 to 90% locked down. From what I saw, I don't think you have that 80 to 90% locked down. However, I could be wrong. I don't know you. Maybe you really are just kind of like I caught you off guard. You weren't expecting it. Maybe you really do. And I hope you do, by the way. I hope you do. I don't want you to go in there and fail because that'll make Israel look bad. I hope you do very well.
Can Donnie set up a poll? Can Donnie set up a poll so we can get some feedback from the audience?
The things I said to you, those weren't even like good pro-Pally debates. Those were just the things that they all say. And when I said it to you, I got to be honest, you did not have good counter answers other than just, oh, that's fake. That's not a good answer because he and his audience doesn't think it's fake. You're right. It is fake.
Oh my God, that was terrible.
Yeah, I would not say, yeah, the Nakba was just a just war. No.
That was terrible.
Was it not? Was it not? I mean, like,
doesn't matter if it is. Yes.
But that's not the first
point.
point.
From a logical standpoint.
It doesn't matter.
It's not the first point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. Correct. Hammer's right. You don't start off with that. You prove that and then get to it. But it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Do you not understand when I said debate is 80 to 90% art? That's me saying that only 10 to 20% is like that statistics and facts and history and proving. That 80 to 90%, dude, you can have people lie during an entire debate. When we're talking about online debate, we're not talking about like Oxford, maybe where people are actually fat. No, we're not talking about that or with moderate. We're talking about online. It's the equivalent of comparing a professional boxing match to Street Fight. Have you ever seen Rocky?
Yeah.
You ever seen Rocky 5?
Yeah.
Remember when he fought the dude in the streets that he trained? It's like comparing that to when he fought in the ring with Apollo, right? It's completely different. You're going into the effective what is a street fight, but for debating. The other person can lie. No, it doesn't matter because if he lies to you, let's say 100% of what he said was a lie, but he does it in a way that like just seems cleaner, more confident, and it gets you. It doesn't, dude. You're not listening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you say, well, the Nakba or the 1948, that was a justified war. That doesn't mean shit. Because if he says, no, it wasn't, 750,000 Arabs were kicked out, even though only the Arab Liberation Army was only about 10 to 20,000 members. So even if you included all of them, that would be 730,000 men, women, children that were kicked out. Guess what's going to go viral on X? That clip, not you saying it was a justified war. That's not going to mean shit. It doesn't mean anything, dude.
Okay, I mean, I hear your point. I mean, usually in wars, those 750,000 people would be unalived. In Israel's case, they were only expelled.
Oh, so thank you for not killing them.
You're admitting, oh my God.
It is a thank you because that's how wars work. That's
they weren't expelled, though. You're wrong. First of all, you're wrong. They weren't expelled.
Yeah, and there was a lot, and they were retaliating and trying to unalive the Israeli.
Dude, don't do this. Your answer is wrong. You gave the wrong answer. It's not even debatable. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to go on there and say, yeah, Israel expelled 750,000 people. One, boy, what a shitty argument. Doesn't look good for our side. Two, it's not even historically accurate.
First of all, I don't believe you have the best of intentions because I watched you the other night debate Libiano and you were also terrible. Sorry to say.
So okay, fine, I'm terrible, but you know what? I'm not going to debate Sneeko.
Either. You're acting
fine, I'm terrible. Great, I'm terrible. I'm not going to debate Sneeko.
Stop shitting on me when you're not even that good yourself either.
Fine, I mean, I'm not that good. Except Nick agrees with me. Is Nick good?
Okay.
Well,
look, dude.
Is Nick good? Nick agrees with me.
Listen. You do what you want. Okay. Right. You do what you want. Seriously, if you do it, I hope you fucking crush it. I truly do mean that, okay? Because if you go against somebody, even with certain people I've debated, right? Way smarter and better than them. But sometimes I have not done that well because I have let them just steamroll the entire conversation. I'll be the first to admit. In fact, one of the most important things about admitting about debate is knowing when you do mess up. Not in terms of merit, not in terms of logic. I've never lost a debate ever on logic or merit, but have I had clippable moments where it doesn't look my best, that I don't know how much you watch me, that maybe you've even seen, you're like, that's not the normal Nick I know? Yeah, 100%. Because it doesn't actually matter. Now, if you were going into Oxford debate with a proper moderator and prepared, statements, and he has prepared and you were doing cross, then maybe I'd say okay. But that's not what you're going into. If I had that, I'd beat every single fucking Muslim. I'd beat every single pro-Pali in the world. And I still generally do anyways, period. But that's not what you're walking into. And again, if you do it, I hope you win anyways. I really do. I mean that. I hope you crush him. I hope you have a better debate than I had with him, which was an absolute demolishing of him. I hope you demolish him like I did times 5,000. I really mean that.
Yeah, thank you. I understand. But the style of debate I just did with you was very similar to the style of debate as Rabbi Mizrahi. And I know you said you don't think Rabbi Mizrahi did that well, but I actually think he cooked Sneeko, did he not?
I didn't watch the entire thing. I think in some cases he did well, in some cases no, not at all. But to be honest, I didn't.
Anyways, you're not him.
I didn't watch.
You're not him.
I didn't watch the entire thing anyway, so I can't give you an honest
Even if you're
answer.
right, you're not him. That guy does this stuff professionally. He speaks professionally. You're not him. You're terrible. You think I'm bad? Fine. You're a lot worse. Believe me.
All right, thanks, guys.
If you need anything before that, if you're gonna do it, let me know when, and you're more than welcome to come back up. And if you ask, hey Nick, I think this topic will come up, can you help me with it? I'll be here for you to help you 100% of the way, because in the end, if you decide to do it, I still want you to do well. So just let me know, okay?
Okay, so the last thing I will say is that I think you are right in that the statistics, I'm not really that good, but I mean, like I said, it really only would have been like 20% of the debate. And when you mentioned with passion that statistic of like almost 700,000 Palestinians unalived by Israel, that's something that is so not true. I mean, he can with his manipulation.
You didn't say unalived. You said expelled.
It also doesn't matter if it's true or not.
He's talking about post October 7th. Is that really true that it doesn't matter if it's true or not? So you can just lie through your teeth like a politician?
In this type of debate, 100% you can. And that's going to go more viral.
Idea.
But that's
the
only
debate's
because
be
his
20%.
audience is rooting for him, not because he's actually doing well.
You're like, you have this idea that you're going to have a control over where the debate goes, which you're not. And you're like, well, 20% of the debate is going to be about this. You don't know what the debate
is. My Muslim friend is going to be the moderator. So there actually is going to be a moderator. So
okay.
You're wrong on that.
And if you think Sneeko's going to stick to following what the moderator says, you haven't been paying enough attention.
Actually, it went pretty smoothly with Rabbi Mizrahi, so I think you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I actually appreciate Nick's feedback, but I just feel like, okay, Nick, is he not being a hater?
I think he's giving you some harsh truth, dude. I think he really is. I get Hammers are a little more rough around the edges than me, but nothing he's saying is wrong. And
okay, so you agree that I'm a terrible debater? Just say it.
I have no idea who you are.
Oh, but he's saying you're the worst. You're terrible.
I didn't say you were the worst. I said you're bad at this. You're not ready.
I have no idea who you are.
Your answer on the Nakba, you still haven't gotten the right answer there.
So
you've had three opportunities to get the answer right on the Nakba, and you still got it wrong.
Okay, so do me a favor, and can you give me the correct answer? I want you to educate me.
The correct answer is the people left mostly on their own accord at the behest of the Arab leadership because of the 6 incoming invading Arab armies, and they warned the people to get out of the way so that they wouldn't be in the middle of a war zone. And they were told, after we slaughter the Jews in 2 weeks, you can come home victorious and celebrating the slaughter of all the Jews. That's the right answer.
And there's also
don't listen to me because I'm bad at this.
There's also a significant percentage of them that left based off of false propaganda of things that didn't actually happen in areas, and they left before the Haganah, Palmach, or in some cases Irgun, etc., even went to their neighborhoods because of a sense of fear based off of a lot of it being propaganda.
And then Sneeko's going to get all passionate and call bullshit. He's going to do the same tactic you said.
Right, and that's
really,
when...
you can cite, but don't listen to me because I'm bad at this. But you can cite This Is Israel by I.F. Stone, the book that I found for everyone in this community, by the way, who documented a meeting between the mayor of Haifa, Shabtai Levy, and the Arab Hire Committee members, where he begged them to stay. He cried. It was
Yeah, but Hammer, you're really bad at it, though. Didn't you
no,
know?
but the
right.
notes came from the British Military Archive. I forget the name of the general, but you can find it in This Is Israel, who documented the meeting where Shabtai Levy was crying, begging his Arab friends to stay, and they were told, and he was told that the Arab Hire Committee leadership said, "You will starve before you will come to an agreement with the Jews." And they ended up leaving Haifa, 35,000 of them, under guard of the British military. They left on their own volition.
That's right.
I mean,
and then you
but
can
I'm bad
also
at this, so
you
don't
can
listen
also
to me.
quote "River Without Bridges," which was written by Dr. Haim Balikatz, who literally said that when looking at the original refugees, right, in this case 1948 refugees, the Arabs, that 68% of them left before seeing even one Israeli.
all right. Okay, fine. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
No problem. Good luck. All right, let's catch up with these super chats, and I'm gonna go over to Yamingle. Where is it? Where's the last one I read? There we go. 96 says, "Who cares about sacrifice? Take care of yourself. Use your time to improve your mind, your body, etc. Sacrificing those alone means you lose potential." No, I don't agree. You don't. Oh, you're talking about what Hammer said earlier. He didn't say to sacrifice. Never mind. I'm done with that conversation. He didn't say to sacrifice. He said if you. Never mind. Cars. Feminism messed up male-female relations forever. True. Real Sal says, "Should not debate. He's too timid and nervous, but Sneeko doesn't have a clue on any of this stuff, and anyone can wreck him, I think it's supposed to say. But Sneeko will cut him off because he has no problem talking to thousands." Yes, true. The Real Sal. That's why, like, having a little bit of information does help, because like when I say something like it didn't start in 1948 either, and they say, "No, you're a liar, Nick," then I have that killer line that always works where I go, "Oh, really? Then tell me, what was the purpose of the Jaffa riots in 1936 or the riots that followed from 36 to 39 where 510 Jews were targeted and slaughtered? What was the purpose of 1929 in the Hebron massacre where 67 to 69 Jews were, while they were sleeping in a hostel that was created by Jews to build a bridge between Arabs and Jews, while they were sleeping, they went in and slaughtered 67 to 69 children, women, and men? What was the purpose of that? What was the purpose if you think that's too well, yes, there was another neighborhood during the Hebron massacre where they went to an anti-Zionist Jewish community and slaughtered them too. What was the purpose if all that's too recent of 1517 Hebron massacre or 1517 Sfat massacre? So you have to have the information to back this stuff up, because even though I said that 80 to 90% is art and 10 to 20% is science, statistics, facts, if you don't have that 10 to 20%, then it's 100% art. And that is only going to be backed up with statistics and facts, because if you don't have that, all they have to do is say you're a liar. And guess what? He has the following more than even myself. And so if he says that, guess what? That becomes reality, even if it's not actually reality. Real Sal says, "I'll take that bet with Hammer. 100 on the kid who can't debate and is timid will steamroll Sneeko. I know I'll lose, but F it, I'll take that chance." I'll do a 5-1 to you with you.
The problem is there's no way to judge.
Yeah, we can. We can judge it.
Well, then no matter what happens, I'm saying he lost.
All right, we'll put it up to the audience then. The Canadian Zionist. I'm sorry, but the fact that he's getting emotional with Hammer shows he's not ready for the debate. That's factual. Real Sal says, "Sneeko came from blood sports slop streaming. He knows how to shit talk and make a mess out of debating and can bullshit his way through anything." True. You guys want to know why Douglas Murray didn't do that well when he went on the Joe Rogan show? It's not because Douglas Murray isn't smart. It's not even because he doesn't know how to debate. He doesn't know how to do that kind of debating.
Yeah.
The Joe Rogan show is not real debate. It is a street fight slop. That's what it is. And that's why Douglas Murray didn't do that well. We can make all the excuses in the world. Well, he was right over, who was that? What, Dave Smith? And also, he was doing a 2v1. It doesn't matter, because guess what? Guess what everyone considered at the end of that, even some people on the pro-Israel side, that Douglas Murray lost, or at least didn't do that well. It's not because Dave Smith or Joe Rogan, or they were doing 2v1 and they teamed up on him, or that Dave Smith had facts and Douglas did it. It doesn't matter. Douglas Murray could have said 100% truth and Dave Smith could have lied about everything. he doesn't, because Dave Smith's not like a complete idiot. But still, even if he did, it doesn't matter. Carr said the Sneeko debate thing reminds me of debating Christian missionaries. If you don't know what you're doing, you damage the cause just for your ego. Thy Canadian Zionist. Hey Nick, who was easier to debate, Sneeko or Amru? It depends. So like easier in the sense of who was less knowledgeable. Sneeko was less knowledgeable than Amru. Not that that's a high bar to set. I'm not trying to say Amru was really smart, but it's just, again,
he knows a little bit.
He knows, he knows a little bit more.
Sneeko didn't know shit.
In terms of easier and like, and I'll give, this is the only credit I will ever give Myron Gaines / Amru Foodle, right? He still showed up. I'll give him that. Even though he was ducking me for months and he blocked me, he didn't just show up once. He went live and he went for 5 straight hours, maybe a little bit more, which I know I can do. I have a crazy amount of stamina when it comes to debating. I can debate for 12 hours straight. I don't know why. I love it. I can do it. I don't get bored of it. So I'll give him that credit. Some people don't have that kind of stamina. And also, so in terms of like easier, in terms of like saying relatively structured, although he did deflect at the end when he was losing. They always do that though, so I'm not going to point that to only him. He was easier than Sneeko. So it just depends on what you mean by easier. The real Sal, F it, he pre-won. I want my money, Hammer. Jay Bowman says, I believe he's doing it for clout, not to prove anything. Look, I don't know the guy. In the end, regardless if he's doing it for clout or because he wants to prove something, I don't really care. I obviously want him to win. So my offer stands. If he needs help, I'm here for him. But I hope he understands maybe there's a, I'm here for him. All right, you guys, I'm going to shift over to Mingle, so see you guys over at YouTube. I did get my account warning removed on TikTok, but I'm still not going to do Mingle on here because TikTok now has this thing where if you show any video above your head, after about 5 seconds, it just goes unoriginal content, unoriginal content.
Yeah, they're overdoing it with that one. Yeah, don't worry about following me anywhere. I'm gonna take this time to, relax.
All right, see you guys over at YouTube /X. God bless America. Peace.
It's Omegle time, everyone!
That's
you know what
right.
that means? Arabs hanging out in a car. Hanging out in a car. Screaming and yelling while hanging out in a car. Absolutely no women, just 3 bros hanging out in a car. 1, 2, 3 Arabs hanging out in a car. Come on, everyone, sing along. From the west to the east to the north to the south. From the river to the sea. All we see is Arabs hanging out in a car. Nothing but Arabs hanging out in a car. We click next.
And what do you see?
No women, absolutely no women, just bros in a car. Screaming and yelling while hanging out in a car. 1, 2, 3 Arabs hanging out in a car. Omegle time.
Omegle time. What's up?
No.
No.
Israel.
Israel.
Get that shit off your fucking wall, buddy.
Israel. Is that how you pronounce it? Israel.
Get that off your wall, buddy. Clown.
إسرائيل وحاطط إيران وحاطط شو اسمه وحاطط أمريكا. طب ليش يا حبيبي ليش؟
أنا مش يهودي. باسمستي يهودية.
Talk to me in English, حبيبي. I understand.
Oh, you understand English? Sorry, I was trying my hardest. No, I'm not. I'm not Jewish or Israeli, but I just support them. I'm American.
Okay, and okay, brother. Now, what do you think about 9/11?
What do I think about it?
9/11.
No, I got it, but like, what do you mean? What do I think about it? What's your question?
Who did it?
19 Saudi nationals, 17, 19, 17. Anyways, Muslims, Arabs, Osama bin Laden.
It was set up. It was set up by the Israeli and the American government.
Okay.
There were
five dancing
people
Israelis.
and-
Yeah, I know.
Correct.
So that never
And
actually
a white
happened.
man. Oh, that definitely happened. It's video evidence,
There's
Habibi. What are you talking
okay.
about?
Can you show me the video of 5 dancing Israelis?
I mean, well, now
You can't, because it actually came from the father of Muhammad Atta who said that. However, who was dancing on 9/11 were Palestinians in the West Bank. They were dancing for sure. But let me ask you a question. Who were the hijackers?
Who were the hijackers? Fuck, who are the hijackers?
I'm not asking for their names, like Muhammad Atta was one of them. I'm saying, like, do you believe they were Mossad? Do you think they were Israelis? Like, who hijacked the plane?
Israelis.
Okay.
I think they were,
Okay, got it. So all the
and
people,
I don't think there were 2 planes that crashed into the buildings.
well, it's on video.
I think it exploded. One of the buildings exploded.
You do believe there was 2 planes, though, right? At least for the World Trade Center? It's on video, dude. You can see the planes going in.
You see, but the problem is, bro, I saw a video from the bottom of so okay, the tower is up here. The plane hit right here. The bottom is right here. It exploded from the bottom.
No, I'm not asking if you think there was an explosion, but we see the planes. It's on video. We see the planes that hit the towers.
Just like you see Israel bombing Gaza, bro.
That's a deflect. Hold on, you're deflect. Where are you right now? I see it says you're in Palestine. Hold on one sec. Just let's calm down, okay? Let's have a conversation, okay?
I'm in the West Bank.
Okay, great. What part? I was just in the West Bank about a month and a half ago. What part were you in?
Nablus.
I was in Ramallah, Nablus, Shiloh, Bethlehem. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm saying, without deflecting to Gaza, we'll get to that in a second. We see the planes going into the building. Are you saying all of those videos are fake?
No, but I think that Israel
Okay, you don't think it's fake. That's good. That's good. My next question. Okay, fine. Is Osama bin Laden, was he a Mossad agent? Okay, the fact that you don't know tells me you haven't actually thought about this, because you would have just answered quickly.
No.
Okay, so Osama bin Laden is a Mossad agent. Was Muhammad Atta a Mossad agent?
I honestly don't know.
Don't talk with your mouth open, or while you're eating food. Okay, so if you don't know, then why would Muhammad Atta be?
What?
Okay, so Osama bin Laden, when he was fighting against the Soviets in Afghanistan, prior to 9/11, back in the Soviet-Afghanistan conflict, was he a Mossad agent then, or did he become a Mossad agent later?
Man, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
Well, my question is why did Osama bin Laden admit to doing 9/11 if it was Israel? Why would he admit to it then?
Because probably Israel told them some shit, or America told them some shit.
They made him admit to it?
Oh, absolutely. I believe it.
No, I don't want to know what you believe. I want actual evidence, facts here, something. Because if you're going to say Osama bin Laden was a Mossad agent, you have to tell me when he became a Mossad agent.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Okay. Gotcha.
Know,
so was everyone in on it? Also, why did he run away?
I just kept getting.
Bro. What's up?
Oh, bro, dude, this guy.
This guy.
How are you, man?
Yeah,
I'm good. How are you?
Go ahead and skip.
Guys, want to skip? You can skip. Oh, okay.
No, she exited.
Salam alaikum, habibi. Kifale. La. He's typing, guys. La. Ana mish Yehudi. Ana Itali. Ah, American. Oh, do you speak English then? Oh. You're not Arab. You're in Saudi Arabia? Oh, are you one of those migrant workers where they don't give you citizenship? Ah. Are you allowed to leave? They didn't take your passport? That's good. That's good. Okay. Well, have a good one, Habibi. Those migrant workers where they don't give you citizenship? Why do I hear my voice?
Trying to find you, man.
Oh.
There's nobody here.
I'm Israel Chai.
I'm Mr. Chai. Hey, man, hey, I'm Jewish, man. Hey, thank you for everything you're doing for us, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Love you, bro.
Love
hey,
you.
Fuck them up.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Oh, what's going on here? What's happening right now?
Oh my God, there's like just, oh my God. Ow.
Hey!
Hey, hi Nick.
Salam, brother. How are you?
I am doing fine.
Hey, look, wait, hold on.
I believe you're gonna get Nazis on the Nile because it was supposed to arrive to you at the end of the month, and it's about the end of the month. That's probably what you're getting.
You are correct, my friend.
It's a good read.
Yeah.
It is a good read.
Can't wait for it. Next time I'm fly, I'm definitely gonna tackle through it.
Yeah, I know, and you will feel sorry for me, but hey, don't. But by the way, I was watching you debating someone, I think Greg from X, couple of days ago, and you got over. Doesn't matter who. Quran 65:4.
Okay.
And he was insisting on the idea of no, young here mean immature. I think it's a language thing. He doesn't speak Arabic either. There is a couple of hadith where someone come to Muhammad specifically ask him about young girls.
Mm-hmm.
I can send you a screenshot of the see. I believe it's one of them is Razi and Al Farra, and someone says, and a man stood. I'm translating. A man stood and said, "O Messenger of Allah, what about the young who hasn't menstruated?" And he says, "And those who have not menstruated, like the old, and who does not." So the question is, no, it doesn't mean that is refuted by Hadith. Muhammad actually says explicitly his answering the question for the young. The other thing is,
if we can get that hadith, that'd be awesome.
I will send you a screenshot and translation of it over in a DM. The other one in Arabic, the highlighted, the important part of it is lam, the one come before menstruation. Lam, there is a different way of negation in Arabic. La, lan, lam, lais. There is a different way. Lam specifically negates the past.
Okay.
But doesn't necessarily negate the future. If he says lam yahdar means hasn't come yet. That's why you found a lot of translation says hasn't menstruated yet.
Yeah, right.
Because that little word lam, LM in Arabic, lam meme,
right,
means he's not concerning of the future, he's concerning of the past.
Okay.
The third one, if it's Shia, Khomeini actually, there's an interesting book called The Little Green Book. It's online. You actually should read it if you want something entertaining. It's quite humorous. And he says one of the most blessing in the world for a man that his daughter have her first period at her husband's home, i.e., she should get married before menstruation.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm sending you a DM just as a reminder. I'd like to see that hadith, but that makes sense. I wish I need to learn Arabic just so I can get those little things. 1 second. What's up? They're not working. I'll figure it out.
Until then, if you need to learn Arabic, I would advise you to do that. It might be helpful, but
in time.
If you ever need translation, just DM me. Tell me what you're looking for. I've loved working. I am not a debater. I don't like debating people. I don't have the characteristic of a debater at all. But I love working in the kitchen.
What is the name of this green book? Everyone's saying the green book is disgusting.
It's called The Little Green Book.
Oh, it's literally called that.
Yeah, and it is disgusting because he discussed things. It's a collection of Khomeini's fatwa.
Oh, you know what? I do. Yeah. I do know that one. That's the one I quote. Is that the one where he said what you can do to like a prepubescent girl until she does?
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
yes.
yeah. I forgot that it was called that. Yeah.
Some of it are disgusting.
Yeah.
Some of it is hilarious. Like beer and alcohol are impure, but opium and hash are pure. And so it's a collection of fatwa where it just some of it is disturbing, but others kind of funny.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Yeah.
The other thing, I was just watching you early with a guy who says he wanted the debate sneak over the Nakba. There are a couple of things. I will send you a screenshot of that as well. The Jewish Worker Union of Haifa actually distributed the leaflet for the Arabs, asked them to stay.
Yep.
Not to listen to, and there is a British police report says that, again from Haifa, says the Arab insisted on leaving, and that the British had to provide them trucks to leave. And there is a documentary, 50 years on the Arab-Israeli war. It's long documentary where Mahmoud Abbas and a dozen others. Mahmoud Abbas himself says, his family told him he was told to leave for 2 weeks, and he had to take his old shoes because he said, I'm coming back in 2 weeks. So you have multiple sources saying that. While what's his name, Khalid Jalal al-Azm, Khalid al-Azm, the Syrian prime minister, autobiography said the same thing. While you don't have anyone on the other side. The number itself, Ephraim Kirsch did a really good calculation based on
I see
number
that. Yeah.
of villages.
Yep. I saw that. Ephraim Kirsch
yeah,
is incredible. I love that guy.
There is no way you get the 700,000 to start with.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. I had that study bookmarked, actually. Yeah, he went village by village and showed it's not even possible. For those in the chat asking, yes, this guy is a international treasure. I agree. He's incredible. His name is Salam. If you guys want to find him on X, it's Ibn al-Warraq. I hope I said that right. So IBN-ALWARRAQ. He's on X, but his name is Salam. He's absolutely incredible. Love running into this guy. I always learn something new.
Anyway, thanks a lot. Keep up the good work. I will text you those screenshots and their translation.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Have a good day.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. Yeah, that guy is, I can only hope to be even a tenth as intelligent.
I can't believe I'm fucking listening. Yo, Nick.
Hi.
Hey, mate. I've been fucking trying to get to you, actually, the most. Can I talk to you, actually, on a serious fucking level?
For sure. You're live right now, but yeah, go ahead.
Fuck yeah. Okay, let me put a... 1 second. Hold on a minute. Just... Yo.
For those wondering his ex, I'll put it in the chat. That's the guy's ex.
Fuck yeah, Nick.
Hi.
Mate.
Yes.
First of all, I wanted to fucking speak with you for like ages, so the fact like I'm going to speak to you, that's like a dream come true. I'm live. Fuck yeah, let's go. I actually really want to ask you on specific things. I'm Israeli, from Israel, but I've left when I was like 15. So I've actually learned a whole lot of matter of facts from you. And obviously I've done my own fucking research and everything, but I'm very, very impressed. So I want to say first and foremost, massive thank you for all of us for doing, Hasbara. But like I want to ask you, I know that you're not Israeli, you might not be able to answer this aspect, but like, I'm talking from personal experience. I don't want to name and shame who, but it's like very close in my life about Israelis. I don't understand how there is such liberalism in Israel that I've lost so many people that I've loved all my fucking life, who are like a second mother to me, who I just fucking said it.
You're saying there's a lot of leftism in Israel, and it's like
There's a lot
boggling
of
your mind.
that is boggling my mind. I'm a centrist. I'm not particularly like radical left or right wing. I can't stand radicalism on any aspect. But I mean, you've got to be fucking batshit crazy after October 7th to fucking think that there is any chance that they've waited for, they've culminated this exact attack for like 20 fucking years plus, literally led to believe all the kibbutzes around Gaza that they are, hunky-dory and as sweetie pies, and they've been invited to people's homes, and they were like literally invited in people's homes and hearts to, and those kibbutzes were on an entire mission of creating mending bridges and creating humanitarian lifelines so that we can break the cycles and everything. You've got to be batshit crazy to think that after what they've proven to us is it's never going to be enough time.
Right.
20, 30, 50 fucking years. It's
Sure.
never going to be enough time for them to fucking de-radicalize themselves. So my question to you is, how do I deal with Israelis who thinks that I can't stand the narcissism and the elitism from the ultra liberal left, because they think that they're smarter, they think that they are more enlightened, they think they're more educated, and I fucking vehemently hate that attitude because I've educated myself a fucking plenty. I understand, I know, I will fucking vouch, but the thing is that they constantly send me arguments and articles and things like that, whatever Israel and the IDF has done, which I don't condone. The reality is that in the system in Israel, this shit gets punished. It's not systematic.
So is your
It
question
is
like, how
bad.
do you deal with the leftism in Israel and why it's spreading?
Why is it spreading, and why do I see people in Israel literally marching for the fucking Palestinians? Like, it is self-suicidal.
I will
And
say,
it's
I think it's, I was just there like a month ago. I think it is definitely a minority. I wouldn't say a lot of them are marching for the Palestinians. There are some that are marching for maybe other reasons that are anti-Bibi, but a lot of them still, a lot of even those are not like necessarily trusting of the Palestinians. How do you look? Leftism I find to be a cancer, regardless of what country you're in, and I share your sentiment. I can't imagine how, especially after October 7th, how there can be any, whether it's 1% or 100% or whatever, any people that would march for the Palestinians. I'm not really sure.
You cannot be under any delusion. I mean, and listen, I was brought up as liberal.
Right.
I was brought up to never hate anyone, never judge a book by its cover, certainly not by race or religion, blah blah blah. The whole spiel.
Sure.
But you got to be. I don't know how to navigate or how to build bridges with people who now I've lost, and they were very close to my heart. I don't know how to get to them of like, you absolutely nuts. I get
Yeah,
that you
that's something
perhaps
that they
may
have to
be
decide
racist.
themselves. They have to figure it out. I'm assuming a lot of them are probably Ashkenazim.
Yeah. How did
Yeah.
you know?
Because that's what makes up most of the elitist left in in Israel. So, you know, a lot of them happen to be that way. I'm sure there might be some Sephardic or Mizrahi left-wing people. I don't personally know of any, but I'm sure it literally exists. But, you know, generally they are Ashkenazi. And I'm not even necessarily automatically blaming them. They didn't grow up with the Arabs, right? They were in the diaspora for 2,000 years in Europe. So not that they didn't have their own problems that they had to deal with.
100%.
100% they did. It just was a different problem. So you know, it might just take time, you know? It might just be to where they
I mean, what will it
realize
take? What I try to kind of argue to them, what will it take for you to wake the F up? Of course I don't cuss, but what will it take for you
you
to
don't
wake
curse,
the
no
F up?
way. Listen, it's just gonna take it's just gonna take time. Listen, the Mizrahi Sephardic, they have 2,000 years of a head start when it comes to dealing with the, well,
Of
maybe
direct
not every
hands-on.
Sephardic, but yeah, but
Yeah.
dealing with the Arabs, the Muslims, um more recently, but still the Muslims. And so yeah, it's just gonna take time. I mean, I believe that soon we're gonna, and when I say soon, I mean relatively soon, maybe even after we're gone, but soon, Israel is going to kind of form sort of a new, not new ethnicity, but like identity. Like it's gonna,
Right.
one day it's gonna shift away from like Ashkenazi, Mizrahi, Sephardic. Soon you're starting to just see Israelis that are kind of a mix, like, oh yeah, my dad's Ashkenazi, my mom is
Yeah.
Moroccan or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's starting to form sort of like this kind of badass Jew. I'm not gonna lie, it's really badass Jews that they're really forming.
Well, I used to kind of like self-deprecate a lot and say like, oh, I'm a bit of a mutt, you know, we're all a bit of a mutt in Israel, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I think I've even heard you say that in a sort of a jokey, half-assed
Yeah,
way.
it's just gonna take time, but soon, you know, the Jews the Jews always figure it out. The Jews have gone through a lot worse in history than what they're going through now, so they'll figure it
We
out.
are so we are it, like I have still some family in Israel, so it's like I'll give you a little bit of background. I've left again as I was 15, and then I lived mostly in diaspora. I've never, like, unfortunately, I'm thinking of coming back to, I mean, I'm now in America, but I'm thinking of coming back to
Should.
Israel because, you know, frankly, I don't like England. I don't like how America's fucking treating Israelis, the groypers, the sociopaths over here. It's crazy. And, but I the only thing that is making me actually really reserved on doing so is that I know how we have a really, because of the constant wars, because of the constant arguments we have of each other, of like, what's the right direction to go, what's the correct course of action. We are so fucking fragmented and viscerally so. Like, America is really dystopian in terms of like how super left and super right things are, and there doesn't seem to be like a little bit more of a center right, center left like it is in the UK. But in Israel, it is literally pockets of this community, the ultra orthodox, to this, to that, and everyone is like very, very planted in their own camp of mindset, if that makes sense. And I that's the one thing that makes me really reserved. It's just very conflicted, and I hate it because we shouldn't be conflicted from the inside. We should only be utterly united.
I will say, as somebody who travels in the United States of America a lot, I got to give a shout out to Florida. The one place that I've gone that doesn't, like, anti-Semitism still feels extremely foreign. I'm not going to say it doesn't literally exist. I'm sure there's some aspects of it. Was Florida. Florida really doesn't tolerate anti-Semitism. The people there don't seem to tolerate it. Again, I'm sure some people exist, but like, dude, when I got off Florida, I was just in Miami. I got off the plane. The first sign I saw, this big sign for Chabad. It had the Rebbe on it, and I was literally like, "Did I fly to Israel? Like, what happened? Am I in Miami?" And it had like the Rebbe on it, and like it was actually it was super cool. So you know, Florida's great, but yeah, no, listen. Even if America was 100% like perfect to the Jews, I still would say like making Aliyah sounds like an incredible thing. And so I know you
Yeah.
lived there up to 15. I think you should go back regardless. But you know, everyone has their own life, so you do what's best for you. But that being said, if you have any other
No, I
questions, I'll
want to. I
answer.
want
But
to.
I'm gonna have to move on. Trying to find some people to debate.
Are you sure I can ask you a couple more questions? Because you do seem to know a whole of a lot of information. So I actually
Sure.
wanted to drift now to the diaspora. For example, I was speaking with you might have spoken with him himself. He introduces himself as an observant empath. And then the longer I've spoken with this, I really think he was like, I was thinking in my head, man, this guy is a little bit neurotic in a sense that he knows a hell of a lot of information, all the way down to like we were arguing about what exactly the Romans did, how did he kick them out, how did he come about, like all this super like semantics at that point. I was like, fuck, this is like Nick Matau level guy, and I'm not Nick Matau myself, so I feel like he was trying to get a gotcha moment, even though he initially started with like he is supporting Jews and everything, and he grew up to, you know, in fact in a Jewish school and learned a lot about Holocaust. But then the longer the conversation continued, he more and more seemed to have little slightly bigoted pockets. He was rubbing real close shoulders to groperism. I'm just terming that right now. And like, I think pretty fucking nationalist. And
Sure. What's the question about?
How he was bringing such specific cases about Netanyahu and things like that, which I'm not as well informed or don't have the tools to argue with. How would you, what would you suggest you deal with someone like that, that is super sort of analytical and wants to pretend that they are as an empath, and yet Jews spit on Christians?
Yeah,
Jews
just
do.
don't worry about if someone's an empath or not. This is a topic, especially being pro-Israel, that requires facts. It's not feelings. So even if someone truly is an empath, I don't
Yeah,
particularly care. I'm actually having a debate that's going to be coming out here, hopefully by the end of this coming up week. I did a 1 versus 10, and one of the guys there, he was a Palestinian guy. He was trying to force that out of me. Like, he's just like, you're not really empathetic, and when I was a kid and blah blah blah. And I shut it down immediately. I said, look, I don't even know if you're telling me the truth or not, but even if you are, I don't care. I said, it's just like, and he's just like, how dare you say that? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. It's just because there's facts, and this is what matters to this topic. So if someone's trying to be an empath, even if they really are, but a lot of the times you're right, they try to just like portray that, but in reality they're just using it. Yeah, you should answer the same way regardless. You shut it down immediately, and you attack the neck, and you go for it. That's
But he was, as I was saying before, he was like your level of scrutiny, of details, of whatever.
Then don't debate against that guy. You should only let people like me debate against that guy.
That's what I would recommend to him. But honestly, like, thank you very much for your freaking help. Next time I'll come ready with more questions if I do come by you again. But
Okay, thank you.
I couldn't tell you more.
Thank you so
very
much. Best bye. Sorry guys, 1 second. So, fun fact, I used to go to the gym a lot, especially when I was in the Navy, and I hurt. I had a torn ACL on my knee and also my left shoulder. So it really screwed up how much I used to go to the gym a lot. But I really, really missed it. So a few days, 2 days ago, I signed up for a gym membership again, and I've been going these past 2 days. I was only gonna like start off slow, like 2 to 3 times a week, and so I started the first day yesterday. But I was just like, I missed it so much. I had such a great time. I was like gonna do like 30 minutes. I ended up doing like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I woke up this morning, went back to the gym, and I just been like, I did biceps and triceps today, and I just have like this huge pump in my arms, and I missed it so much. And don't get me wrong, my shoulder does still hurt, my knee hurts, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. So the reason I keep getting up is because I've been drinking a shitload of water. Anyone who goes to the gym a lot, especially I went for 2.5 hours a day. You know, consistently drink water. I just been pissing like a racehorse, to be honest with you guys. But anyways, I'm so excited because I've lost like 10 to 15 pounds. Some of you guys have even said you look like you've lost some weight. My face looks kind of like a little swollen today because I think of water retention. But like, I'm just getting older, just to be real with you guys. I'm 34 now, so it's just like, I remember I used to eat like 5 times the amount of food as I eat today, and I'd still would like kind of lose weight or not put on anything. Now it's like I feel like I eat like a fifth, and all of a sudden I gained weight. So I cut my calories back, I lost weight, but in the end, you have to go to the gym, and you can't just only have a good diet, right? And I feel so good, you guys. Like, I don't say this a lot, but to get like kind of personal with you guys are my family. Anyways, I do have a thing with anxiety. I've always had it since I was a kid. I definitely get it from my mom, just to be real with you guys. And it's just like going to the gym is like, it's just been like taking all that away. Are you stretching your body? Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm older now, 34, so I literally plan before and after like a good warm up and a stretch, and I roll my muscles out and everything. When I was in my 20s, I used to just like go to the gym and be like, I don't need that. I don't need a stretch. No, I need to now, excuse me. So yeah, how did you help the anxiety? Well, that's what I'm saying, is going to the gym has helped it a lot. I have my own ways of also kind of helping. Like if you guys were to ever like be a fly on the wall in my house, if you see me like cleaning like crazy, it's probably because I'm stressed. When I get stressed, I like to cook, I like to clean. Sometimes I'll put my face in like a ice water, drink cold water, you know, just like kind of focus on it. That's like ways. Chugging a cold bottle of water. Yeah, that's nice. But anyways, yeah, dude, it's just been like, you know, sorry to get all personal, but I just been feeling really good. I like um super glad to be back in it. You know what it is I was excited, so I paid for this extra thing where it does like a full entire like in-body scan, gives like an entire sheet on like not just like BMI and weight, it's like everything. It like literally looks at each extremity and part of your body and determines what that percentage is at. And I was super happy that I found out, because I was like worried. I hadn't been to the gym in a while. It's like, I wonder where my muscle mass is at. And every single part, other than my left leg, which was right at about average, but every part of my body was actually above average in muscle mass, which was super exciting, because if I'm going to lose some weight, especially in my mid region, I was worried like I also have to make sure I don't lose muscle and everything like that, which obviously is still the case, but it's just good because I don't have to worry about that as much, because everything was at 105 to 115% above average for my attributes, my age, my height, with muscle mass, which is good. I didn't lose really any muscle. So, yeah, I've just been having a good time. I'm super excited for that. And yeah, Nikki, thanks for the super chat. You are clearly Jewish having anxiety. I've heard that joke before. I also, you know what's funny? I made this joke too. When I started talking about Israel about 5+ years ago, a little after that, I started developing some stomach issues. And I was like, that has to be that has to be like a sign from God. I'm not just Jewish by soul, I'm Ashkenazi Jewish. All right, let's get back into it, you guys.
Fuck Israel.
Bro, what's that haircut?
Israel's my dick.
What?
Israel's my dick.
You want Israel on your dick?
Suck my dick, nigga. You Israel? From Israel?
You're gay?
Suck my dick, bitch ass nigga.
This dude's gay, chat. It's all good. It's 21st century. It's 21st century. You can be gay.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Why are you so angry for?
I tell you, you fucking gay, nigga.
You just told me to suck your dick and I'm gay?
You're a grown ass.
You want a dude to put his mouth around your penis and you're calling me gay.
Oh, bitch. You're a grown ass man, Skip.
You're a grown ass man. Fucking broccoli ass haircut. Look at that shit, dude. Oh man.
Just give that nigga some. What's up, bro?
This guy's a
What's up, dude?
No, I want to talk.
It's not very nice.
Oh fuck! Hold on, we're getting clipped. Sorry, I just saw the Yehudi flag. Like, you know, you be fucking up my people. Are you a Zionist?
I mean, I think that's obvious, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, not all. Fucking,
not all Jewish people
not
are
all Jews
Zionists.
He didn't ask if I was a Jew. He asked if I was a Zionist.
Are you Jewish?
Ana mish Yehudi.
Okay, but
Nah, he's Jewish, bro.
No, but are you just a Zionist or what?
I'm a Zionist. I'm not Jewish. I'm Italian.
Oh, you're
Why are you
Italian?
Zionist, bro? You don't fuck with my kind.
What's your kind?
Palestinian.
We're all Palestinian, three of us.
I don't know you guys personally. I might. If you're rude to me,
Why
I might not.
Why you
Okay,
still
wait,
at, why
wait,
you
but
still
like,
at
wait,
land and
wait.
kill our
How are
people?
wait? So you're Italian, but you're a Zionist?
Yeah.
Most Zionists in the world are not Jewish. You know that, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
Evangelical
So,
Christians.
well, I'm not Christian either, but
Then what? What religion are you?
I'm a Noahide, but you're not going to know what that is. So it
You're a
doesn't.
what? Sorry.
Noahide.
What does that mean?
Are you Muslim?
You know why? Is when you act like you can't.
It's like a Hanif. Like what you called the Prophet Ibrahim.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So you believe in one God?
Yeah. I'm not Jew, Christian, or Muslim. I'm
Then why are you like a Zionist? Why do you support Israel?
about like 5.5 years ago, especially, I started like really doing a deep dive and studying the history. I got a degree actually in it, but studying the history and doing my research, and I found the pro-Israel side to make significantly more sense. Not that Israel's perfect by any means, but it made more sense than the pro-Palestinian
But in what
argument.
way?
Yeah, how
In
does
what
it
way?
make more sense to you?
Yeah, sure. So I reject the indigeneity.
Wait, first, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you live streaming right now?
Yes.
Come on, bro. You could have told me that.
Well, he told you. He said it. The guy behind you.
Yeah, I see the flag, but I don't know that you're live streaming.
No,
What
the
are you
guy
streaming
behind you said I was.
on? Oh, what are you streaming on?
YouTube and X right now.
Oh, how many viewers do you have?
2,200.
All right, so
What? Wait, what's your YouTube?
Wait, no, get to the point where.
Yeah, but like, well, how do you become a like?
Yeah, sure. So
how
I
are you a Zion but you're Italian? Like,
No, not
I don't.
that.
I'm genuinely curious.
Explain the side. Explain how you believe the pro-Israel side.
Yeah, so I've done my research. I started off with Chaim Herzog's Arab-Israeli Wars, and I read some anti-Zionist books, Ilan Pape, Konstantin Zarek, Rashid Khalidi, Harim Barakat, Konstantin Zarek. I read the Zionist side, Ephraim Karsh, Alan Dershowitz, etc. And so just as I read, I'm not trying to be vague, it just depends on what you're asking specifically, but as I read, I found the pro-Israel argument to make logically more sense.
But you know it was like Palestinian land at first, right?
But it wasn't. That's not true.
Okay,
It
but
is true,
but
though.
when you make the
So
argument,
when was it Palestinian land?
Okay, but I want to make the
1948.
So when the
can make an
British were in the British were in control.
It was under Ottoman rule.
The British
and
were
then
the British were in control from 1922 to 1948.
when the Ottoman Empire dissolved.
Right, but he just said it was Palestinian.
The land was known as Palestine. It was.
Well, no,
the land
actually
that
the
Jews,
Arabs
Muslims, and Christians all lived together.
Sure. So no, the Arabs actually rejected Palestine. In fact, there was a King Crane Commission in 1919 that actually asked the Arabs. It was a huge polling apparatus that was done. They asked the Arabs how many of them wanted to see an independent Palestine. Do you know how many of them said that they wanted to see that? 6. Not 6%. I mean 6 total. In fact, 81% almost wanted to see a unified Balad Hashem, a unified Syria.
Balad Hashem.
Right. They rejected the idea of Palestine. In fact, most of the time when saying Palestine in the 1920s, 30s, and early 40s, it actually referred to the Jews most of the time, not the Arabs.
But your information isn't lining up with history.
It does line up with history. I just told you can look at the King Crane Commission of 1919.
No, I get what you're saying, but like
I know more about the history than you guys. You're not going to beat me on that. I promise you.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying we're going to beat you. You're obviously well educated, but the essence of Zionism isn't in itself a violent and destructive thing.
It doesn't have to be violent. There's a lot of left-wing Zionists.
The thing is,
I'm probably I'm probably a lot more of a right-wing Zionist. So you're probably correct with me. Like my idea of what should happen probably is you're going to determine to be more violent. But there's a lot of Zionists who are very left-wing and everything in between.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Zionism itself for Palestinians, it was very destructive. Like, look at the Zionist militias in the 1947 and 1948.
Some of them, the Haganah wasn't very destructive, but the Irgun, sure. But the Irgun,
750,000 Palestinian refugees that left in 1947, 1948. That was all because they chose to leave. It was a very
not all of them, but most of them, yeah, for sure. In fact, there was a study done.
Most people chose to leave.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you. So most of them, right? If you read Dr. Harim Barakat, he was a PhD and he has a history in this. He wrote a book called River Without Bridges. Do you know what percentage of Palestinians from 1948 admitted to leaving without seeing even one Israeli? Not even one, like, IDF soldier, Haganah. Just how many left without seeing even just one Israeli? Do you know?
I don't know.
68% left without seeing even one Israeli.
But like,
that's
give the
most.
context to that.
Sure, the context.
When you see
sure.
villages getting massacred, of course you're gonna leave. You don't want to get
So
massacred.
actually, no. Most of them left before any of the massacres they even claimed. Okay, so the reason for that is. So I have no problem explaining it to you. So there was actually, for example, there was a mayor of Haifa, right, who actually talked with. There was a meeting between the British, the Arabs, and the Jews, and the Jews were begging the Arabs to stay. Right? They were like, please stay. We want you to be part of this. We don't want to fight. And the Arabs, right? The British were overseeing the meeting. The Arabs went to talk to the Arab Higher Committee, and they came back and said, we are all being forced to leave. In fact, the Arab Legion specifically told the Arabs that you will starve before making any deal with the Yehudi. And so they all left. It was 35,000 plus of them, and just Haifa alone, that required the British to escort them and leave out of the area. This is before any massacres or war or anything like that. They didn't want to make.
If the land I owned for so many years,
they didn't own it, but they didn't own it.
Listen,
what are you talking about? There was deeds, but honestly, we just have to agree to disagree.
So
it's not agree to disagree. I'm historically correct.
We're not going to come to an agreement on this.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct, because I'm actually factual, and you're using emotion right now. There is no. You can say you want it. You can say you wanted to own it, but you literally did not.
Listen, how? But if you have a deed for hundreds of years, like,
they didn't have the deed. In fact, Sheikh Jarrah, you know about that neighborhood, Sheikh Jarrah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? Right, Sheikh Jarrah. Yeah, Sheikh Jarrah was actually owned by a Jewish community. It was a Sephardic Jewish community of 40 people who owned it from 1875. And when Jordan took control of this area and expelled all Jews out of the land of the West Bank, they admitted, the Jordanian government admitted it was Jewish-owned land, but they didn't care, and they still expelled the Jews out of it.
What is this source? How?
Yes, the Jordanian government actually came out with an official document that was stamped by UNRWA, actually, that admitted this.
Pass the controller for a second. We're not going to come to an agreement.
He skipped.
Nigger.
Whoa.
Hike.
Where you going?
ايه اسرائيل؟
اسرائيل؟
اذا مكس اخت اسرائيل
كس انك.
اسمع, wait, I actually have a question.
اسكت. Yeah, sure, what's up?
Are you actually from Israel?
No, I'm from America.
Okay, I have a question for you.
I hope you see the big ass American flag, you know.
Why do you have an Israel flag?
I support
them. A Palestine thing on your chain.
I have an Israel is on my necklace, and I have an Israeli flag because I support them.
طب أقول لك إشي, أنت وإسرائيل عزب كويس?
I don't speak voodoo.
You don't speak voodoo?
Correct.
Fuck you and Israel.
Piece of shit.
Free Palestine, bitch.
I'll take 2.
You'll take 2?
Yeah.
You'll take 2 dicks in your mouth? Or in your ass? Which one?
Why do Arabs always say gay shit, dude? They always go straight to gay stuff. It's always the dudes with the broccoli haircut that say that shit too. Gross.
Oh, hey!
What's up?
No, I'm just joking with you, bro. I'm just joking. I see the Israeli flag. I support you guys.
I support you. Hail Hitler. What does that even...
Hail Hitler, man. See, a lot of people don't realize Jewish people have great sense of humors. You guys got the best sense of humors because, like, you guys, I like Jewish people personally.
Cool, man. Well, have a good one then.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm Italian. But I do agree, Jews do have the best sense of humor. They do make up like most of comedy, to be honest with you. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, when you get put through like just a lifetime ago concentration camps and everything else, well, everything else is just a joke to you.
That's probably a little bit true, actually. Yeah, when you go through a lot of.
They already seen the worst of the worst, so everything else is just a joke. You know, I mean, it's like, well, it's not. Well, I mean, that was a bad joke, but not as bad as the Holocaust was.
That's probably a fair point. That's why also Germany is also very, very unfunny, honestly.
Free
Got rid of all the
Palestine.
Germans. From what?
Free Palestine.
It's like the epitome of the pro-Pally movement. They just say free Palestine. From what?
Yeah, from the signs that stuff for you, like you guys, from the war that's happening
Me?
right
What
now.
am I doing? I'm an American.
American Free Palestine. Say it.
Free Palestine? Sure.
You should take that down.
Why? Because you guys
Do you
like to
like
control
people?
speech?
Do you guys like to see people getting killed, children and mothers?
I like to see accountability, yes. Oh, shit. What's up?
Poker face, poker face. Fucker face, fucker face. I wanna roll with him, my heart that we will be a little gambling.
You know, yeah, man.
Like, guys, like, I honestly, like, كس امك
Puss emek. Puss emek. Puss emek.
هذا حاطط هذا العلم
It's
من
not
اخو المنيك
kiss
اللي وراه.
emek, it's
قايل
kuss.
بالشاب كس امه للشاب تو عليه جوال.
Uskut. Puta.
What happened? What he do?
Why did we just get it?
We just got ethnic. I got eggplant emoji. Danke. Danke. What flag is under the Israel flag?
Iran.
Oh shit.
Oh, wait.
What happened in
Isn't
Iran?
that like cross-contamination?
No, this is the old Iranian flag. This is the pre-Islamic Revolution flag.
Okay.
Oh, I know that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck Islam. Thank you.
What is he saying?
Station with that shit. Nigga, fuck is.
You guys think, like, you know how there's bots on, like, comment sections and stuff? You think one day AI will get so advanced that we'll have, like, bots, but, like, face? Like this guy. He could be a bot. Salam alaikum.
Brother, fuck you and fuck your flag.
Does that do job interviews? Probably true. What's up?
Hey.
Howdy.
Kind of like Zelensky.
Zelensky?
A little bit.
I think I've gotten that a couple times.
Yeah, you have a longer face, but kind of similar.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm not a big fan of him.
Why's that?
I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way. I support Ukraine for sure. Like, you know, I want them to push back Russia. It's not an anti-Ukrainian stance. It's just something about Zelensky. Just not rubs me the wrong way. But you know, I don't think about it that much though. You know, so
Yeah. You follow in British politics at all?
do I follow it? I mean, I follow it as much as my fight against Islamist regimes, and I find it spreading into Western Europe to include England and the UK.
Did we talk the other night by chance?
We might have. I speak with a lot of people, so I can't say I remember, but it's possible.
Okay. Okay. I mean, so if you want to talk about the Islam, Israel, immigration, all that type of stuff, I'm happy to.
Okay. What's your position on Islam?
It's a religion that, by and large, is more traditionalist and more restrictive on people who follow it than most of the other religions are.
Okay, what's your idea of Islam in the West?
I mean, it's different in different places. In America, it's largely a progressive religion. In Europe, it's a mixed bag, but a lot of those Hezbollahs are not particularly great. There's a lot of really insular communities that have formed there for a crap bag of reasons.
So you think when Islam becomes at least a significant portion of the population, they get more aggressive and restrictive than when they're a smaller percentage.
I mean, I don't think that there's general rules like this. I mean, so I studied in Bosnia for a little while.
You studied where? I'm sorry.
I studied in Bosnia for a little while.
Bosnia, gotcha.
In Bosnia, the Bosniaks are Muslim. So the only difference between a Bosniak and a Serb and a Croat is what religion they are, right? They speak the same language. They've lived in the same place. And this is a very, very like socially progressive place.
Sure.
Especially for the Balkans. Like it's just not.
Do you find Arab Muslims to be a little different than some of the areas that they spread to, like Indonesia, etc.?
I mean, okay, so like my department's chair is Palestinian.
Mhm.
And he's like a very, very secular, like he's actually a communist. So I've got my own set of like issues with most communists, but he's a pretty smart guy. Like he's reasonable.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't fall into it. I'm talking about obviously Muslims, not secular people.
Well, no, he's a Muslim.
Yeah, but you just said he's very secular.
Yeah, he's secular Muslim, the way that people are secular Christians.
Well, sure, but they wouldn't be following the tenets of Islam, which is what I'm talking about. I agree a Muslim can be more secular, less pious, but I'm speaking of the tenets of Islam, not specifically Muslims.
Yeah, but the point that I'm trying to make is that, like, in America, Muslims are that type of Muslim by and large. We don't have the same types of mosques that the Europeans do.
What percentage of American Muslims support Hamas?
It's a really hard group to poll. It's a very small percentage.
That would make it actually easier to poll them, not harder.
The problem is if you don't do a random sampling of the population as a whole and extract.
It's had a margin of error of 2 to 3%. The poll that I'm referring to that just came out about a week and a half ago.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I'm gonna guess probably in the 40s.
Before I answer you, don't you think you kind of have ran away from your original point? Because I would say supporting, regardless of what you think about Israel, Palestine, or Jews, or Israel, or any of that, just supporting a group like Hamas, especially as an American, would be pretty, I would argue, radical. So for you to say, oh, the Muslims in America are a lot different, and then you yourself think it's 40% that support a group like that, 40 to 49%, don't you think that's
People don't have politics that are like internally rational. They have a bunch of experiences, right? People from this part of the world oftentimes reflexively support Hamas without thinking about it.
They're from America. Most of them are Americans that were born in America. They're just Muslim. I didn't say Palestinian Americans. I said...
No, these cultural things are passed down. And they can stay long past like social politics. These old national attachments.
Do you agree that supporting Hamas would be a radical position, regardless of what you feel about Israel or Jews or America?
I don't think that I don't really know. I'm going to sound evasive here. I don't really believe that radical is a meaningful word to talk about politics with. Like radical relative to what? It's
relative to American ideology.
Yeah, like it depends on what supporting Hamas means. If supporting Hamas means that you support like that ideology, that's one thing.
Yep.
If supporting Hamas means supporting a group that is perceived to be the Palestinian people's like liberation fighters, and there's not a lot of thought that goes into it, that kind of is a different story. I feel like that is a much less radical position than supporting Hamas for a different reason.
So you think if it's in the 40s, let's say 45% to keep it in the center, you think supporting it in the 45% level would be justified if you thought that at least a significant portion of them were just simply seeing them as a liberation organization, even though it's very well known that they're much more beyond that, especially after October 7th, as more people become educated on this, especially Muslims? Like, for example, the tenets of Haram al-Mukarrama al-Islamiyya, right? Which is what Hamas means, Islamic resistance, right? Yeah. The tenets of them specifically talk about how the last hour will not come until you slaughter every single Jew, right? That's
Trust me, I know how gross Hamas is.
You think Muslims know that?
No.
You think you know more than Muslims about these areas and these groups?
I think that I've talked to many Americans about American politics. They don't know jack shit. And I don't imagine that Muslims are better at their country's politics than Americans are.
You said that these ideologies were passed down. I assume that's through education, parents teaching
Not
them,
ideologies.
etc.
Not ideologies. It's much more like simple, smaller than that. There's positions that you kind of get because the people around you have those positions, that once you start to think about politics, you reconstruct a lot of the rest of your opinions to match like what your political stuff thinks, but some of them don't feel like they should fit into that. They're kind of at a more primal based level. I think that support for Hamas among a lot of Muslim Americans is like that.
What do you have to justify that response? Like, I have a poll that says what they do believe and what they do support. In fact, when you look at Palestinians in the Arab research, it's about 45 to 47%.
Yeah, right. Cool.
Right. You were right, and it debunks your whole point. And so my point overall, right? So the actual support of Hamas and the military wing amongst the Palestinians was 89% at one point. And so when you try to say, yeah, Nick, well, my name's Nick, by the way. Yeah, Nick, but the whole issue really is that they could be supporting them because of radical ideology, but it could also just totally be that they see them as a liberation movement. Do you have something to show that that's why they answered in terms of almost half of all American Muslims, which is the most liberal Muslims in the world, and even they are about half? How about Sharia law? How many American Muslims do you think agree with Sharia law? You know, where women don't count the same in court. Yeah, go ahead.
Say probably high teens.
Yeah, it's closer to 50%. And so what's the reason for that? Let's say they believe Hamas is a liberation organization. What would be the reason for agreeing that women are half as intelligent as men and they have half the say in, like, let's say a Sharia court? What would be the reason for that exactly?
Most Muslims don't actually read the Quran that much.
Sharia is not a Quran thing. It's yes, it comes from the tenets of the Quran and also Sunnah, of course, but it doesn't.
It's from my.
You have a very have you ever heard of the bigotry of low expectation?
I have such low expectations for people.
For Muslims, it seems like you keep excusing their radical ideology by saying, "Oh, they just don't know what they're talking about."
I mean, so think about it this way, right?
Sure.
How many Russians support the war in Ukraine?
How many what?
Ukraine. What percentage of Russians support the Russian war in Ukraine, right?
I'm not sure. What is it?
It's hard to
I can look it up right now.
It will show between 40.
What percentage of Russians support the war in Ukraine? Yeah, about right. Some say 20%, but okay.
It goes that low, right? It's hard to pull Russia, but when you think about like Americans, right? In the Civil War, Confederates supported the South.
Would you say that the Confederates were radical or had radical ideology?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then your point is moot, isn't it? So real quick, so your point is moot because it doesn't matter. I'm not asking you for the reason why someone has a radical ideology. You can say because they're biased. You can say because they're raised into it. I never asked for a reason. I asked what percentage do you think is radical, or whatever word you'd like to plug in. I share your general sentiment that radical is a word that can be pretty vague or lean one way or the other. But for lack of better terms.
Anything. It's just relative. Radical is just like something that's radical relative to whatever is expected.
Right. And so you agree that it is radical, but they did, and I agree with you, they probably did support it. But again, I'm not asking you for the reason they support radical ideology. I just asked you which ones are radical. So even if you could give me a reason why they still support it.
I mean, I just don't think about groups of people and their opinions in this way. Like I don't think individuals have rationally, internally consistent beliefs. And I think that people mix and match a lot. And I think it's very hard to live in America as a Muslim without liberalizing considerably. And that's because America has an integration engine that works and Europe doesn't.
Sorry, I'm totally listening. Just one second. What, babe? Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, I do think it actually is more aggressive in Europe. I'll give you that. The only reason I even bring it up America because we're both Americans, so I think it's just more at home. But nonetheless, what I am getting at is that a certain sense when you look at radical ideologies or even let's say anti-American ideologies, there's a certain element that comes with Islam that you don't see anywhere else. And that added element is apparent to Muslims across the spectrum. It just happens to be less aggressive in areas, in this case, America, as other areas like Europe, and even less so in Europe than you would see maybe in the Middle East.
It's again, I just really have trouble painting with a broad brush, right? I was just in Turkey a few.
I'm not speaking of Muslims. I'm saying Islam. Well, that actually brings me back to my original point. The tenets of Islam. I agree with you that in certain areas like America, Muslims are going to be less likely to follow the tenets of Sunnah, Islam, Sunnah, the Quran, etc. That is true. But I never once mentioned, I know we went down this rabbit hole of Muslims, but I never really once mentioned Muslims. I said Islam.
Yeah, I mean, I basically agree with you about Islam. Like, I'm a secularist. I do believe in like pluralism. I think it's really important that people are allowed to believe freely and that we don't have like state preferences for most beliefs. But like, yeah, Islam scares the crap out of me in a way that only certain types of evangelical Christianity and like Hindu nationalism do.
Sure. So why does it scare the crap out of you?
Because these people are insane.
Okay, so
Like,
it sounds like you agree with me then.
I mean, I do, but I think that it's like those people are certain sects, right? The Wahhabists, the Salafists, the I mean, there's like the mainline clerical movement, which is the UAE and Saudi Arabia and the likes of them. Like, I despise the fuck out of them, but I don't think that they're the type of like they're stuck in their own borders. They're not.
No, I agree. There are definitely like the UAE is probably the best in terms of preventing and even actively fighting against jihadism, external jihadism. However, they still have slavery too. So it's like even the very, very best of Muslims in terms of best by, I'm saying, less violent, even the very best still have
Best of
slavery.
Muslims are Bangladesh and Indonesia and Turkey and Bosnia and yeah, like
In Indonesia, there's only one district that actually has Islamic ruling, right? And in that district, just last week, they publicly whipped a little girl because she was on I think it was an Instagram live, maybe it was a TikTok live, doesn't matter, and she kissed somebody, a boy, and so they publicly whipped her. So I agree with you. Indonesia is probably better than maybe some from Afghanistan or the Palestinian territories.
there's I don't know if historically I've never heard of a regime that imposes the level of restrictions on women that Afghanistan does. It just doesn't exist. It's like suicidally restrictive.
Yeah, the Taliban's awful. I agree. So since we are kind of in agreement with Islam, what do you think about I guess Israel then, since that was the next thing you listed in your topics?
I think Israel is a democracy, and I think that Israel is going through the same structural democratic forces that the rest of the West and the rest of the world really is going through because of the internet. That's kind of turning us in a less there's less institutional capacity. Our societies are more primed for bad responses to things, and we're kind of breaking apart and losing connection to each other in some ways.
I think
And
that's fair.
They're in a pretty they're in a challenging security environment. The extent to which that's their fault, I don't exactly have an opinion on one way or another.
I think that's a fair take.
But I certainly there's a lot of that history where I am extremely sympathetic to Palestinians, and there is some of that history where I'm quite sympathetic to Israelis. I think that the leadership in both cases have been disastrous consistently, and the one time that they had good leaders, they got shot. At least post like 40s and 50s. And I think that Israel is not yet at the point where I would call it genocide, but I think that they are close enough to where I'm very sympathetic to people who use the word, because and I think increasing elements.
Why do you think they're close enough?
Because genocide is a crime of intent. The question is the goal
special intent? But yes, true.
What was that?
Special intent specifically, but true.
Well, the intent is to and we can. I've got complicated feelings about the UNCHR, but I think that we have to talk about like the UNCHR definition because,
of course,
like that's what genocide is in most people's imagination. If we're going to use the word,
right, the UNCHR specifically talks about what's called dolus specialis, which means special intent, right? It's not just intent; it has to be the intent to specifically do this, not do something else, but you can double up and also say it's doing this.
I think elements of the Israeli far right are already there.
Okay, so there's two elements that are required for genocide, right? The physical and mental element. So I'm sure you can probably argue the mental one with some far right people, but how do you argue the physical one with, and which far right people are you referring to?
Smotrich, Ben Gvir, and especially the
Okay,
West
so let's start with Ben Gvir. What has Ben Gvir done that meets the physical elements, not the mental, but the physical elements?
Right. That's exactly my point. That's why I think that it's not the case that Israel is yet committing genocide, because I think that currently the Israeli state apparatus, their explicit goal is not the destruction of the Palestinian people, but an increasing portion of it is.
I would say genocide's not one of those things that can be increasing. It's either you do or you don't because of specifically because of special intent. If we were just talking about intent only, then sure, I think there could be a spectrum. But with special intent, it is either this or not.
When I say not yet, I don't mean that it's a spectrum that's going as this gradient. I'm saying that it's a switch that's here. And that here is whenever it is the case that the people who are in charge of the armed forces of Israel are have the types of beliefs that Ben Gvir and Smotrich and the types of logic that I think that they have about the Israeli security situation never being okay unless these people aren't here. And so they need to go. And maybe
kicking them all out wouldn't be genocide. That would be ethnic cleansing, but that's not genocide. That'd be the opposite, actually.
Exactly.
Right. So I think your argument makes sense on some people in the far right that are increasingly pushing more for ethnic cleansing, which I don't know if I necessarily do or don't agree with, depending on the actions of it. Because ethnic cleansing isn't illegal under international law. Now, certain actions, it's not.
Okay.
No,
okay.
it's just literally it's literally not. I don't know what you're laughing at. It's literally not.
The fact that you said that, like that's
it's an accurate statement. I don't.
It's true, but it's very funny.
I don't know how, but okay. So now, depending on the actions you take via ethnic cleansing, then yes, of course, that can be a violation of IHL. It could be genocide if that's the actions you take, or anything in between. So I can agree with you. And by agree, I don't mean I'm saying I agree in the sense that I think it is happening. I'm just saying I can agree with your point if your point was for ethnic cleansing. But I don't agree with your point, even with Ben Gvir, Smotrich, etc., of genocide.
So here, again, this is why I say that I don't yet believe that Israel is committing a genocide. I'm not ready to say that yet. And I think that they've been yo-yoing. There have been times where they've gotten closer to that point where I'd say, yes, actually it's happening. And I think that they're a little bit further away.
Based off of
the like where I would say, okay, it's a genocide.
Yeah, what did they do that made you at the closest, like, ooh, you were almost there? What did they do?
I think that this was during the there was a blockade. When was it? I think it was last summer.
Yeah, it was around no, you're talking about the it was after the first ceasefire from January to February and into March. Second week of March, it was for about 2 months, which is not genocide. It's actually allowed per the Geneva Conventions 4, specifically the commentary says to allow, as long as there's adequate amount of food, you actually can do temporary pauses. And we know there was adequate amount of food because the World Health Kitchen themselves, or sorry, not the World Health Kitchen, excuse me, the World Food Program of the United Nations specifically said that 94,000 tons of food is enough for about 2 months in Gaza. And they had about 4 times that amount, which would equal 2 times 4, 8 months of food.
Have you looked at the satellite imagery of Gaza?
Yes, I actually was just in the restricted zones of Gaza about a month ago. The Gaza envelope. So
it's a moonscape.
Yeah, but that's not what you were talking about. You were talking about a blockade. If you're talking about the destruction in Gaza, that's a different argument, which I'd be more than glad to explain that, but that's not what you said.
So there's waves of the physical actions get to a point where I say this is...
Sure. What percentage of Gazan buildings have been damaged or destroyed?
I don't know.
Somewhere between 60 to 90%. Now, what percentage, even if we used Hamas's numbers, and even if we include all terrorist deaths too, I'm not even going to ask you for just civilians, just period. What percentage of the Gaza population has been killed, according to Hamas?
Let's see, Gaza's pre-war population was
It's about 2.2, give or take, million.
2 million?
Sure. It's about 2.2, but sure. Maybe higher. I've seen some go as high as 2.4, but that's why I said give or take.
I think it's gonna be around 9%.
No, not even close. It's closer to 3%. So my question for you is, if 3% of the again, assuming we believe Hamas, and even including all terrorist deaths, if the population percentage death toll is about 3%, and somewhere between 60 to 90% have been damaged or destroyed in terms of buildings, can you explain to me, like, statistically and logically, how the percentage differentiation is extremely high? Why would that happen?
Because the IDF is a professional. Wait, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
What
would
the IDF is a professional organization that is largely interested in following the rules of war.
Right. So when you talk about genocide and you bring up as your example, you ask me for the satellite imagery. I assume the only reason you asked that question is to talk about the destruction, but it actually debunks the idea of genocide, because now if we were closer in percentage, like off by 5, maybe 10% max, you can just argue differentiation in whatever, people surviving, missing, whatever. We're just talking about actual statistics, no emotions, right? The differentiation between destroyed buildings collapsing, which would almost certainly kill anyone inside that building. The only reason for the differentiation between the percentage of the population that's been killed and the percentage of buildings that have been destroyed would be only because they got them out of that building first before destroying it. Now, we can argue about destruction all day, but we're talking about genocide here. We're not talking about, like, concreticide.
You're agreeing with me.
I am not agreeing with you.
No, you are, right?
Not.
Because what I'm saying is that I don't yet think that it meets the criteria for genocide.
I'm saying it's nowhere near it.
Physical destruction element that there's enough of a physical destruction of the population that if
that's not a physical destruction of the population.
What?
That's not a physical destruction of the population. Buildings are not. In fact, it specifically says in the Genocide Convention, the second to last page, that cultural destruction does not suffice, nor does simply displacing a group.
If these actions were committed in a manner that was in accordance with what somebody like Ben Gvir, one of the Eretz Israel people, think.
Sure.
Then the current level of destruction and harm to the population, in my opinion, constitutes a genocide. But they are not in charge.
Well, I'm not here for, even if he was in charge and he did the exact same actions, it would be nowhere near a genocide. Now, you could argue he did that with the end.
It's the level of destruction argument.
Right. It's not. So level of destruction, as specifically noted in the 1948 convention that was ratified in 51, specifically says that it has nothing to do with it. Now, those can be violations. Hold on, almost done. Those can be violations of the Rome Statute, depending on your actions for it. And that violation of the Rome Statute could be certain actions within ethnic cleansing. But we're not arguing that right now. We're arguing genocide. So I'm telling you that those numbers specifically debunk the idea of genocide, regardless of which leader did it or not.
No. So, okay. The reason it says that you can't just use the amount of just death or destruction is because it's a crime of intent. There are individuals in Israeli positions of high power that do actually want to see the Palestinian population reduced.
Reduced or genocided?
Those are, in whole or in part, reduce is genocide.
No. In part, actually, based off of case law, means something very specific. Because if it just meant literally in part, then you could kill one person with the intent of destroying, and then it would be genocide by that logic, because that would technically be in part. It has to be with the intent of genociding and physically destroying the entire population. Now, in part can come from a couple different reasons. One of them could be that you had the intent to destroy all of it, but you just failed halfway through, similar to the Holocaust with Hitler in the Wannsee Conference, January 20th, 1942.
Oh, I've got a question for you then.
Okay, sure. Okay, go ahead.
When do you think that the Holocaust hit the lever to where you would say that it becomes a genocide?
January 20th, 1942. I just answered that because that's the final Wannsee Conference, or the final solution at the Wannsee Conference in 1942, because that shows Right, because that shows the mental element on top of the physical element.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
No, I mean, again, this is what I mean by I think that we actually agree. I'm
We
just
don't
saying
agree.
Alex, what do we not agree on?
Sure, because the mental element's not really there. But even if you were to argue, right, that the mental element's there, you can't argue it based off of reduce. The final solution, the Wannsee Conference, was not to reduce the Jewish population by 5% or 10% or even 50%. That wasn't what it was. It was intent to physically destroy the group of people, and which, by the way, they wanted to expand. And they actually worked with the early Palestinian leaders, Haj Amin al-Husseini, to expand the concentration camps outside of Nablus. Haj Amin al-Husseini, who was a Palestinian leader, they didn't call themselves Palestinians at the time, but Palestinian leader.
A little bit less vitriolic about Palestinians, considering I have a personal friend who's one. That would be nice.
I don't see why that matters. I'm giving you historical facts.
Tone in your voice that
you're telling me you want me to ignore the history of the question you asked me because you have a Palestinian friend?
All I'm saying is that you'd be more persuasive if you didn't have that level of spite in your voice.
I didn't say anything. I simply said in the exact same tone that I've been speaking this entire time. You're telling me I should ignore it because why? What did I say differently in this tone that I didn't say in any other?
Well, it was just the way you said the word Palestinian. I'm sorry.
I said it exactly the same as I said any other word.
You don't need to actually, like, okay.
I'm legitimately confused at what you're saying right now. I said the word Palestinian just like I said any other word.
No, okay, sure. I'm
live right now on YouTube. If you want to go rewind it and hear me say it again, you can.
Okay, you are on YouTube. I understand. Well,
okay,
hi,
I'm going to go back to what I was saying. Again, I didn't say the word any differently, but facts are still facts. I will say the same thing about Israelis. My wife is Israeli. I didn't ask you to, well, stop speaking about Israelis a certain way. This is pointless. We're either here to speak about facts and history or we're not. The fact is that Haj Amin al-Husseini worked with Hitler. He met with him. He literally went to Germany to meet with the Nazis, and he wanted to expand, and this is from his own diary, the concentration camps, and he wanted to send it to Nab.
And I did not do a good job. And good night.
So that's gonna be a video.
I made that nigga before.
Bro. Dude. Yo, what the fuck are the chances that you have that flag right there? Yeah. I got called an Israeli bot. I didn't even say anything.
Okay, guys, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat some food. Working out has made me super duper hungry. That was a good one. That was a good one. I'm glad we got somebody good because I was about to end and I took that one guy and I'm glad we got it. That guy was a dork. Can you not speak that way about Palestinians because I have a friend? That's what the fuck does that even matter? Like in what world would that matter? Like, I have one Palestinian friend, so you cannot say that Haj Amin Hosseini met with Hitler, because that goes against my narrative. What was he doing the whole time? That what the fuck? I'm sorry. Stop bullying, crybaby. All right, you guys. God bless America. And rest in peace and serious. Let's get in serious tone real quick. 2 soldiers, 1 MIA. So probably 3 soldiers that were killed in action today. 2 confirmed, 1 MIA. 4 were wounded in action. From my understanding, CENTCOM said, excuse me, that all 4 of those have been returned to duty. So I don't think it was any serious injuries, but you know, God bless them. And this is exactly why I advocate to finish this war correctly. because of the soldiers we lost before, the 13 before, and now today definitely 2, probably 3. I don't want those soldiers to die in vain. So God bless our troops, and God bless America. Good night.